was walking out one evening late. The moon was rising high, headed for the Riverside. Around us fuss and fight. Patrolman, he walked by, asked me where I'm going. Said if the sun set on me there, I'd never make it home. He said, don't go downtown tonight, there's trouble on the rise. The Batman.
What up, everybody? Cheers, cheers, cheers. Are we running out of GameStop things to discuss? That's what I tossed in the tweet there. Is it possible? Is it possible? Of course not. Of course not. Cheers, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend, huh? See, we got some folks in here. It's quieting down, right? With GameStop. Look, I got the volume up. I made it. What did I tweeted about that today. What the hell did I say? Oh, yeah, just having some fun with it. But, yeah, look at that volume. You know what I mean? That's really the only thing. There's not much new going on. Now it's truly just the waiting game, which is what, again, if you've been long GameStop for a while, this is par for the course. September is what was weird. But it's very interesting how much volume has come down, because when I mean, the Cohen news, right, and then earnings, and then we're getting close to the consoles and everything like that, and then short interest was rising, I was kind of expecting higher levels of volume for the foreseeable future. Like, I expected it to persist for at least a couple more weeks, you know what I mean? It, like, kind of fell off a cliff at the end of, come October. It's a little bit surprising to me, and we talked about that in the last stream, right, where if there's something to that, if it was stronger hands buying them, yada, 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 like mere speculation, right? What more can we do? But then today, below 3 million, you know what I mean? Like, what is it, 2.8? 2.8, is that the low? It's the singular lowest, 2.779. What's this one? Oh, this one's lower than that. Okay, 2.77. Holy shit. Okay, since August 20th. There you go. Damn, that's real low volume. So I'm super curious. That's why I mentioned that in the tweet. I'm super curious. I mean, we get we know our fundamental thesis, right? But now I'm like super curious from this short thesis, like what did it do that second half of September? You know what I mean? And someone was saying that we'll get it. I think Uber was saying that we'll get it at the end of this week. I think Friday after hours, so it'll be right before the stream. But it's more just not because of any short squeeze or anything like that. Yeah, if it happens, that's great. But sheer curiosity. Do you know what I mean? Because now this volume has come down so much. And you'd expect it to pick back up if there's news, right? There's going to be people trading the stock and stuff. But aren't there like 120, 130 million longs right now, and only less than 3 million are trading hands? I mean, I'm not smart enough to, or overthink stuff, as you know, to be reading into that stuff. But I think that's really weird to me for it to drop that low. But it's above me. Well, I don't know. But that's really the only thing that. We had it was kind of an interesting weekend where we had what day, I don't remember what day this was. I don't remember. Maybe we already talked about this. But I saw this article in Barron's. Look at this one. Video game stocks have soared for 20 years. And someone else had made this comment. I don't think there's any mention. of GameStop in here. But which is kind of funny, right? It's like I keep on calling it like the purest video game play coming into this year, thinking about year-over-year comps and everything like that. And then you get articles like this that don't talk about it. I can at least understand why. It's not like it's crazy that they don't mention GameStop. It's about it's about video game producers, is it? At Microsoft and Sony, you know what? The people who are actually not the resellers of the stuff. You know what I mean? The actual producers and developers of. I'm pretty sure. I didn't read the whole thing. I just saw that in case I wasn't mentioned. But I don't get. That's why I tweeted it out. I'm like, all right, let me just this. You know what I mean? And this was part of the thesis for a lot of folks, a lot of long GameStop folks, where you'd expect this sentiment to shift as you get closer to November and the new consoles and so forth. And you're kind of seeing it happen, right? And Steven had mentioned this too a number of weeks back, and other folks did too, I believe, where once those pre-orders kick off, where it kind of becomes front of mind for people. There's actually people pulling the trigger. You see people, the long lines outside of GameStop. It kind of gets the discussion going. One would think that it's only going to pick up with each passing week, you'd think, but that doesn't mean it's going to be reflected in GameStop stock price or anything like that. But I just mean you'd expect more of this type of stuff. But that's a really good headline. They're about to get another boost, and GameStop is literally the largest retailer of these of these products. You know what I mean? Of dedicated to video game products. You know what I mean? So that was a good headline. I'm like, all right, here it goes. It's starting to get going here, and not only that. But then there was this one, that's the CNN one. You know what I mean? This was this was like it was like the first real like GameStop article, like kind of turning the tide. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of feel. If anyone disagrees, you have different articles out there that you think it was more like they're seeking alpha stuff, right? There's a lot of analysts. Some people have been on this stream too, where we've been talking about like those are really good thesis articles related to the GameStop thesis. But as far as like a prominent media firm like showcasing how GameStop's kind of turning itself around, I feel like this was one of the first ones, and I thought it was pretty good. You know what? There were some things. I mean, we're so dialed into it, right? You can pick apart anything. Don't waste your time doing that stuff. But by and large, my take, I'm like, all right, here it is. This was a good article, kind of understanding that the company's trying to turn itself around. And again, there were some small things here and there, but again, it kind of got the gist of what's going on here. For the first time, it wasn't GameStop sucks. It's closing its store. But this is funny, right? So this is CNN Business, October 3rd, 2020. But I had this one up. This is also from CNN from September 10th. Someone different author. GameStop is closing 100 more stores. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff you're used to with the GameStop. And this is CNN Business. It's the same thing. But they have different intentions with each of their articles. I get that part. I googled CNN and GameStop over the past month or something like that, and this one popped up. I go, there you go. Just look, in a matter of 4 weeks, this is notice how the like the sentiment of the article kind of changed a little bit. And so this is what I mean. We're so used to like these types of articles, right? GameStop's closing stores, physical versus digital, blah blah blah. That just we got tired of it. And so I was like, all right, okay, here we go. And then when you have one kind of take the pass at it, maybe some other ones may take a pass at it too. And what will be funny is that if GameStop goes up, if it continues to rise from the current level right now, I mean, if it does go up even more, it's going to be funny because the thesis will not have changed at all, but it's just people are kind of picking up on it. And I think it's just that sentiment angle. I think this is my thesis. But I'm curious what other folks thought, what y'all thought of this too. But you still can't shake like the Blockbuster stuff. I did like the Blockbuster error, it's people like it's almost like it's a staple inclusion in a lot of these GameStop things. Like I get it, but overall pretty good. And then so that was it. I just brought that up, and then there was this one too that who was it? CVC had posted it on Twitter, and that the Modern Warfare no longer fits. You can break it up. You can break up the download so you don't have to download the entire game onto it. But even still, like I think that's what CVC said too. Is that like physical isn't going anywhere? Posted on Twitter, and I mean, you know what I mean? That's a lot of longs have talked about this too. Again, it's not the primary, it's not the basis for the thesis, right? That the games are getting big, but it's a one that so many folks are talking about, myself included. It's like, it's just another thing. Like, you really think, remember the GameStop thesis, the GameStop bull thesis was just that GameStop will remain relevant come November, right? And that's so you see shit like this, and you're like, what? Like, you can't even fit all the games on there, among other things, right? So many other things that I mentioned in the videos. But, and then I just, oh yeah, this was a timely reminder. This was this was this weekend. And I thought, wow, I just thought, yeah, they're just getting bigger. They're getting bigger. And then people talk about downloads and speeds and stuff like that, and storage space and external hard drive and stuff like that. So that's a part of the discussion. But the takeaway is just that, and I say this in that last GameStop video that I did, that that this transition to digital is happening. It's just going way slower than many people are pricing in, certainly than what the market's pricing in. But even when the folk with the articles you're reading out there, and I think people are just getting the wrong idea. But everyone's welcome to disagree with that, of course, right? But then you see stuff like this, and I don't know how much it actually impacts people's viewing of GameStop, but all the GameStop bulls probably picked up on this, like, yeah, we know about that, we know about that. So that was good. That was good this weekend, and I mean, it would be good to get one in Barron's about GameStop. You know what I mean? That'd be it could happen. You don't know. But this was a good step in the right direction. I was kind of excited about that one. I'm like, all right, we got people picking up the story here. This is good. And and I said something to that effect, didn't I? Oh yeah, it's one of the most prominent. I mean, feel free. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that happened in 2020, right? A lot of shit happened in 2020. But as far as like a prominent catalyst that like almost everyone is like kind of tied, whether if it may be your kids or yourself, so many people or family, friends, whomever it is, like everyone's kind of like looking forward to this to some degree, and everyone's aware of it, that it's coming and the pre-orders and stuff. Everyone's talking about it, but I consider it one of the most prominent. It might be the most prominent. I don't know. Are there other ones that's just like so well telegraphed to folks? And And I was doing the math. I'm like, shit, we're only 5 weeks. Is it 5 weeks? What is it? October 5th? I think it's like 5 weeks, huh? And then it's here. And that doesn't mean anything changes or anything like that. I just thought it was noteworthy. I'm like, shit, it's here. It's October. I keep forgetting it's October. And but who knows? The sentiment can change these couple weeks leading up to it. And then, of course, it's November. Then they're here. And then there's Q3, or as far as it pertains to GameStop, then there's Q3 earnings in early December, and then you get the holiday sales readout, I suspect early January. But then it's like, then at that point, then you're starting to get the fundamentals start being reflected in the performance. I mean, the fundamental improvements start to be reflected in the operating performance. Then you get the year-over-year comps, yada, yada, yada. But you can kind of see the trajectory here, where this is going, barring any unexpected news. You know what I mean? I mean, now it's seeming like there's not going to be any... Or there wasn't maybe a big buyer buying in last month, where they would have warranted a 13D filing. Nothing yet. Like I kind of expected we would have got that. So that's kind of, I don't know. But there's other possible announcements. You know what I mean? But even things like a buyback, I don't think that they would announce that before. I think that would come on the quarterly readout. Other than that, it could just be a quiet couple of weeks. It could be quiet months. So you'll see who the bulls have been around here for a while. Like, yeah, we just got to see it out here. But there's some folks who might be, if they're short-term thinkers, that might be disappointed with what's the chart doing right now. Like this chart, I see this. I know most people on the stream said the same thing. Like, this is great. I like this. You just sit back, like, all right, form a new base. It kind of looks like it's kind of, look at this, why 940? Why 940? I don't know why 940. I did pull up Cohen's 13D. What was it, like 8? Was it like 840 or 850 or 860 or something like that? So we're a little bit of a premium to Ryan Cohen's last small purchase. But other than that, it's like not much. So we could just wait and it could do nothing. It seems like a meaningful pullback is seeming less likely, but you never know. And then, folks, last week everyone was asking about, what's going to happen if the whole market craters and everything pulls back. And it was kind of front of mind for people last week. And then you saw what happened to the market today. And Trump's leaving the hospital. I think he was just leaving before I was coming down here. And then look what the market did today. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting to see folks reacting to news and stuff. And I understand how it pertains to GameStop. Would GameStop sell off and so forth? But you know what I mean? Like when the headlines are dominating, this is the sentiment aspect. We talk about it as it relates to GameStop, but it relates to the entire market as well, of course, right? And it's just kind of interesting. People are like getting kind of nervous and bearish. I mean, it's just one day. First of all, I'm just saying this was a big move for the. Was it a big move? Yeah. Look at this. Like people were kind of. I mean, I think most folks would agree that there are some folks like, what happens if GameStop pulls back? If the market pulls back, what's going to happen? And then look what it's kind of done these like past 2 weeks. This is the Russell 2000 I just pulled up, but like that was quite a gap up today. You know what I mean? And then who knows what's going to happen over the next 5. I mean, we got the election coming up too. I get the questions were justified. I get that part, but it's kind of interesting. And then GameStop notably was just flat today, right? I mean, there was no volume, but that's what I was saying. Like sometimes people are rotating into the other names. I think I saw oil catch a bid today too. Some of those oil stocks and energy stocks generally. But GameStop has been such a big relative winner that it's kind of like people might be taking their profits or putting it elsewhere and just like letting GameStop sit. It's more catalyst driven to a degree. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just what I was just thinking about. Shit, you know? Any other big thing? That was pretty much it, I think. We're running out of shit. You know what I mean? I just said that. We're running out of shit. Hey, well, cheers everybody. Well, cheers everybody here on a Monday, on a quiet Monday. We're still getting together here. David Shealy, roar. David, cheers. Cheers. George Nelson, you were beat. You were quite the first one here today. I think someone just edged you out there. Cheers, George. Cheers. Welcome back. GameStop has now gained the attention of numerous analysts and will spike past $11 by Friday. All right, bold claim, George. Hey, George, did I miss something on the analyst front? Was there something? I didn't think I missed anything. Did I? A new analyst? There were some analysts back in September that were upgrading GameStop, but I haven't heard anything like the past 2 weeks. If you heard something, George, I'd be interested. Cheers, Henry. Welcome. As mentioned, GameStop most probably will have an upward trend starting this week and forward. I mean, maybe Henry. I don't know, Henry. Maybe that's Henry sharing his thoughts. Henry thinks that GameStop's upward trend will start this week and start kicking things off. Maybe. I have no idea. No strong opinions, but thank you for sharing, Henry. Like I always say. I could see it being just flat here for a number of weeks and it doing nothing. I do like that it's holding these levels. Again, I thought it might have come back down, may have even dropped a little bit lower. It's surprised me just a little bit, just a tad, that it's hanging where it is. As far as the charts go, which is why it's marginal analysis, right? You just say, hey, this is kind of what you expect, but it's just kind of bobbing around there, just holding its own. 920, yeah, because it dipped. Where did it dip down to today? Yeah, look at that volume, huh? Isn't this crazy? 34, 10, 17. Yeah, it averaged 12, 13. It averaged 13 million if you include that August 31st one, which I excluded just because. I don't know. What the hell was I just talking about? 940. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. So Henry's noting the volume too. Yeah, crazy low volume, huh, Henry? I mean, just kind of absurd. I talked about that, but I agree. I picked up on that too. Just you're not gonna don't expect. I mean, people talk about short squeeze this, short squeeze. That's why I keep saying it's kind of a. I mean, I'm talking about it too. Don't get me wrong. It's an interesting topic to talk about. There's not many stocks out there where you can have a serious conversation about the possibility of it, but it's a little bit of a sideshow, right? Because there's a legitimate fundamental thesis here, but that's what people are kind of focused on. But then you have like days like like that's why I keep posting those tweets too, where I'm like, where's the crazy bull sentiment? You think that this would just keep going up, boom, boom, boom? If that were the case, I'm not seeing it. And then you have days like today where this is crazy low volume, but you need buyers. You need to have and someone, I think people have said this on the stream. People need to step in. You need buyers to buy. If we're even to have the discussion about short squeeze potential, and like today was indication that. There's, at least as of right now, there's not a crazy amount of reason to step into it right now, but I still think they see this market cap. That's why I still think it's quite low. And if there is potential significant upside, we've yet to see it. That's my opinion. Jesse Oak, cheers everyone. Cheers, Jesse. Welcome. Great to have you. Eduardo, is that volume good or bad? Why do you say it is going up? Oh, did I say it was going up? Oh, I don't know if it's going up. Eduardo, first of all, welcome back, Eduardo. I was thinking about some of your questions that you asked on the stream the other night. Maybe we'll get to that. But is the volume? It's neutral. It's not good. It's not bad. I have if I had to, I mean, it's neutral. These are just observations I'm making. That's all. Everything's an experiment, right? We'll look back and maybe we'll say it was meaningful. But the only thing I'll just to keep on running with that, Aurora, and just say it was a little bit less volume than I was expecting, given how much volume we saw last month, and then I'm thinking, I don't know. Like if the short interest is still substantial, it might be tougher than I was expecting for them to get out of it. If there's even a reason to get out of it, maybe they don't. Maybe they need to have motivation to get out. You know what I mean? They're not just going to get out just to get out. If the price are rising or if the story's changing, if their bear thesis is changing, then there's a reason to get out. But with much less volume, it gets tougher to get out. That short ratio increases. You know what I mean? Short ratio, what is it? The shares short. So what is it? About 66 million divided by what people use are the average volume. But really, what you would use is whatever that future volume will be at the time the shorts want to get out. But of course, we don't know what that is. But the short ratio rises as the average volume declines. But that's what I mean. I was talking to someone about that too. Is like volume will pick up as things turn around if the shorts are actually trying to get out of the position. But anyway, it's neutral, Eduardo. It's just notable because I would say that it ever so slight. I don't want to keep harping on ever so slightly increases the chances of a short squeeze. If I'd say that, because if it was just way more volume, I'd be a little bit more like, oh yeah. That's what I keep saying. I have no idea if they can get out of this in an orderly fashion. Maybe they can. But if volume is this low, then I'm a little bit less sure that they can. You know, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But also, the other thing that's sticking out to me too is, remember I saying how you want expect the price to go up, or yada yada yada. You need volume, right? You need people to be stepping in. But now we don't even have volume. We don't have that much volume. This is very little volume. The stock price is sticking where it is. You know what I mean? I view that as a good sign, Eduardo. You know what I mean? Like I view that as a long. That's good news, because it could easily have been coming back down right now, and I would have felt like, yeah, that seems reasonable to me. It's not that crazy. But it's holding it even on this low volume. You know what I mean? So that's kind of interesting. So in that particular aspect, it would be good news. But other than that, I'm trying not to read into it. Now I'm running out of shit. I'm running out of GameStop stuff. Even I'm looking into it. I start thinking about this stuff too much, and then running with it. George, what up, George? Huh? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. What it's October, right? Am I I forget the day of the week. I forget the time of year too. George, okay, it will spike. It will spike. I assume George is talking about the volume. It will spike because sustained gains are grabbing the attention of high status investors and analysts. Yeah, well, that a rising price can help change that narrative. That's what I say. That the technical aspect, right? That will help change that narrative where people will start. And just the sheer rising market cap is beneficial too, because then the larger institutions can even get involved with it. You know what I mean? This is still a small cap by many people's standards. 616. But if it just gets bigger, right? If the market cap just rises, the stock price rises. But if that story can start changing, that's why things like this are helpful for this, where it can at least start to change the narrative, right? It's going to take time to actually change that long-term bear thesis. You know what I mean? That I keep saying that there's legitimacy to the very long-term bear, not 140% legitimacy, but some legitimacy to it. That GameStop, just because Cohen got involved, hasn't already turned itself around or anything. But these are the types of articles that people start viewing it a little bit differently. Oh, you know what? Maybe GameStop can reinvent itself. Maybe it can be blah, blah, blah. You know, stuff we've talked about ad nauseum at this point. I don't know. It may take time, George, to grab the attention of a large number of high status investors and analysts, maybe. But everything's incremental, right? This doesn't happen overnight. Everything's small, incremental moves, incremental changes. That's why I keep saying that the short term. If you're a short-term like day trader type stuff, that's real. I view that as very difficult. I just feel like it's a bit easier to just adopt a longer-term time frame, and then these stuff become a little bit higher confidence beliefs. You know what I mean? Hugo's confused by the Christmas too. Cheers, Hugo. Cheers, Jen. Welcome. Uber too. Howdy. Yeah, that's kind of like a howdy song there to kick things off. Oh, Eduardo, it's already December 25th. GME squeeze happened, and we are currently trading at $20. Oh, okay. Well, I'm confident some folks on the stream would say if we did have the squeeze, it'd probably go higher than 20. I have no idea. I don't even have an opinion on it. But boy, yeah. So Eduardo's fast forwarding to try to think about where we'll be at Christmas time, how high the price will be. I'd take that, Eduardo. That's not bad. $20. That's a double from here, right? And what's that? The market cap would still only be would it be about 120, but net out the cash. I know, net cash, I know. Guinness tonight. Good call, Uber picked out Guinness tonight. I got the Guinness. Thank you, choice, yeah. Shalom, y'all. Jen Cruz. Okay, the people. It's Christmas. The short squeeze happened, and we're at the Berkshire Class A price. Oh, okay. George is saying we're at the Berkshire Class A price. Yeah, that's Berkshire A. We'll take Berkshire. Oh, did he say? He said Berkshire A. Yep, he did. Let's see. So I did that tweet that if GameStop did compete with Amazon, it traded at the same market cap, whatever the hell the stock price would be. I forget. But hey, I'd take this, George. I'd take this. This would be nice. 319,000 by Christmas time. That'd be sick. Polygon calm before the storm. Yeah, that's how. Storm one way or the other, right? Polygon. That's kind of what it's like. This is how. We're talking about in the context of GameStop, but this is how value investing works. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff happening, and then there ain't shit happening, and then there's a lot of stuff happening, and you kind of, I'm used to it, but maybe I don't know if other folks are on the stream here, but that's like how this stuff works, and it's kind of how you manage your emotions throughout this time and manage your position and so forth. But right now, indeed, Polygon, I agree. This is kind of like a calm before something, whatever it might be. But this calm, I could envision it persisting for a while. You know what I mean? We'll see. Daily. Cheers, Daily. Welcome back. Cheers, Daily. New base seems to be forming around 9 to 10. Very nice. RSI cooling off on only a small decrease in stock price. Patience. Daily gets it. I agree. So he's seeing this 9 to 10 base too. I see this as well. I like that weekly too. That's why I titled the thumbnail in this video. It was the third week in a row GameStop closed above 9. That's meaningful. I know it didn't hold the 10, whatever, but it's like who cares? Doesn't matter. 3 weeks above 9. Like I forgot it had been 3 weeks above that. You know what I mean? That's meaningful. And then I agree with Daily. We're building a base. In the longer it goes on, the better it is. That it becomes a new base. That if the stock price, remember, if it rises from 50% here, then you're bumping up against $14, $15. But if we settle down at like 6, 7, 8, you know what I mean? I mean, that's just basic math. But even still, all else equal, you want that higher base. So it's good that it's leveling off here. And again, it could have sold off. So and it's maintaining it. So I'm seeing what you're seeing too daily. I see the RSI pull back to, it never even got crazy overbought on the weekly. That's kind of meaning, I've been pointing that out too when they talk about the crazy bull sentiment. I'm like, I don't see crazy bull sentiment at all. And then, but in daily, maybe talking about the daily too. Daily, talking about the daily, not the weekly. And so it's coming back to it. It got bid up to as high as it's been. Didn't we say since 2013? I think I said it was as high as that daily RSI had been. Yeah, peep this right there. Oh, it was right where it was in 2013. But still, look at this. It has never been. That's why I was sure to highlight that in whenever the hell I uploaded that picture, because like that's kind of meaningful. It's never been this overbought in 7 years, right? But anyway, daily seeing it come back down, and it's good if it comes back down. If it comes back down to 50, that's cool. It's kind of being a little bit stubborn here, not coming down all that much, I gotta say. But notice the volume coming down too. But I agree, daily. I'm seeing the same shit, and I view it as a good outcome right now, as we just await. You know what I mean? Like if you get no news for 5 weeks, it could be back. You always want that price to just stick around at that level. It could always come back down, but even still. Now we're overthinking it. This is overthinking it. You know what I mean? That's why it's so good to have the... I gotta have the fundamental thesis intact. You got the fundamental thesis, then you can have these shits and giggles discussions. You know what I mean? Like this marginal stuff that's you'd be proven wrong on a daily basis over and over again. Like, yeah, okay, I took a guess. But that's why, like with other stocks, though, if I don't have a fundamental thesis or if I'm not really dialed into it, I'm usually not even paying attention to this stuff all that much. It's only because we're so dialed into GameStop. Musical felony. Cheers, musical. Musical's agreeing. Daily saying low volume makes me think float could be way smaller than we think. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I was trying to hint, not hint at. Someone asked me what I meant by that, and it's conceivable, and this isn't my base case, but like when I was saying that. I see all that volume last month, and then part of me was thinking that there's a slightly higher chance than I was originally estimating that this volume, there was some of the buyers were stronger hands, like the company itself buying the shares, or we haven't seen a 13D yet, but even some folks at 3, 4, or 4% of the company who didn't have to file a 13D. Again, I'm not saying that this is definitely what this is showing. I'm not saying that. But to Daly's point, Daly's saying this low volume is like, hey, maybe the float, that's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Maybe that float is not as hefty as some people were thinking, and that maybe this is at least partially, even if only a small part, partially explained by a smaller float out there, that there's not as many shares trading in. That's what I've been saying. That's what I'm kind of saying, maybe that float has been decreasing, and the markets, no one realizes it. How could you know? How could we, at least individual investors, you can't know this stuff. But anyway, the thought has crossed my mind too, daily, even though we don't know. That's all marginal stuff, right? But fun discussion, you got a fun dialogue. Huh? Grab a beer. Hey, maybe the float. Maybe there's not that much float out there. Mike, cheers. Half of them are only holding IOUs. They can't sell them without recalling. That's right. The talk about the shorts. Mike's pointing out that half of those longs, we're talking about 120, 130 million longs, whatever the hell it is. Half of those are just the IOUs, and that any action by some of those certain types of longs can start triggering calling back the shares so that they can be transacted. This is the question, Mike, right? That none of us really, we're all blind leading the blind, right? Blind leading the blind is that could they be closed in an orderly fashion? If I don't know. Long story short, I don't know. That's right. If there's anyone out here who knows more about this shit than me, please let me know. Hey, Michael Murray, by the way, you're invited to the stream. And we saw you've been canceled too. So if you want to give us a head nod, just follow the Roaring Kitty Twitter. Follow the Roaring Kitty Twitter. Blink twice so we know that you're not totally canceled, that you're still here. You know what I mean, Mike? Excuse me. Okay, George, the looming election will move attention to apolitical leisure companies with growth like GameStop. I've been talking about that, George. It seems kind of silly, but I've been talking about something a little bit different than George. But George is saying, hey, as we get close to the election, that people, maybe these move attention. I mean, I'm just repeating what he just typed out. But I've been thinking, George is talking about GameStop and growth in the same sentence. You know what I mean? If people start viewing it that way, that'd be sick. But I mean, GameStop's not a safe haven. Now I know I'm a broken record, but like, yeah, can't you see us getting closer to? I don't want to harp on the election too much, but if like the volatility did increase a bit in the market, and GameStop has like one of the most prominent catalysts out there, couldn't you envision some capital being deployed into that space? Especially because it would look good at year end to have on your books, like at least gaming related. That's why you're seeing stuff like this, because people are interested. This is why I'm guessing now. This is why this has it's taking up real estate and Barron's. I don't know if it was in the print version, but it's because people are thinking about this stuff and how can I play the gaming angle and stuff. That's why it was a bit disappointing that GameStop didn't even make it in there. But again, it didn't. Given what the article was about, I understood why it wasn't there. You know what I mean? So people are thinking about this. So then I think, hey, if people are still thinking about it in the coming weeks and months, I can kind of see that. And then George, if they're talking about growth and stuff like that, please forget about it. Yep, Polygon's talking about Microsoft. They're in a bunch of sectors. Yep, this could be some tailwinds. Hugo's saying the low volume, it's like nobody wants to buy or sell. Bulls and bears are waiting for who to pull the first trigger. It's a waiting game. So that's why, I was like having a laugh with that tweet, but it's just a waiting game on both sides. That's what Hugo's saying. I was just talking generally, but he was like, yeah, the bears are just waiting for maybe their thesis to be substantiated. I don't know. That's the thing. By what? Oh, and someone just said this in Kingdom Capital, I think. Oh, and Steve, I've read your article, Steve. I liked it. I really liked this, the different angle of, I always like this with articles. You know, when someone, like, we're so dialed into the GameStop these, right? We know the ins and the outs, and it was kind of refreshing. And I saw someone else say this. In fact, I think Kingdom might have said that too. It was a refreshing take. And I didn't know much about RH, so it was educational for me too, truly. And I thought, oh, okay, this is an interesting comparison. And I didn't even know it existed. So nice job, Steve. And thank you. I think it was Steve was saying it was his first article here. And so thank you for taking the time to write this stuff up. I appreciate it. I know other folks do too. But this was a good article. And in Kingdom Capitals, I did a deeper dive into that this weekend too. Both those are good. Why was I just thinking about that? I forget. I don't remember. I think because I think you were agreeing that like what are the and we've talked about this again too much on the stream, but like what news is gonna be released in the next 5 weeks that they're gonna like support that the 130-40% short interest or short thesis. Let me know what they did. Extensive short interest. What information could come out that could support that? That would take 3 years. It would take 3 years to play out. And I just think well before then, I think that people could get bullish on GameStop well before then. The price could go up. You know what I mean? Any incremental news just seems much more likely to be bullish. That doesn't mean GameStop's going to go up, go parabolic. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying like, you just short of the Cohen Walken thing, right? And I don't think that's likely. I'm running out of ideas. I'm really thinking. And so to Hugo's point is that the bears are waiting. I don't know what they're waiting on. You know what I mean? There's reasons for the short. They're getting paid that's another discussion. But bulls just waiting maybe for more bullish information and for sentiment to change. Sometimes you don't even need information too. That's the thing is like the bears, you kind of need negative news to come out. The bulls, I think we're just getting closer to the new consoles and people trying to play gaming, that they'll be sentiment could just change without any news. I think that's my thesis, but maybe I'll be wrong about that. Jen liked the CNR article too. Thanks for sharing, Jen. I'm glad you liked that. This one right there. Sick. Polygon saying selling stores is something GME needs and has planned to do so I don't see why that's a bearish article. Oh, well, it's not that I think most people would agree here that closing stores is not it shouldn't always be perceived bearishly, right? Especially in the case of GameStop. In this case, it's not so much that I view this as a really there's obviously much more bearish articles out there than this. This was just the only one that came up on CNN, you know what I mean? Like if I know, like there was the Motley Fool had a whole bunch of bearish one, that Fortune one. There's been a lot of bad bearish ones out there. I would agree, Polygon. This one isn't particularly bearish. But I just thought the focus of this GameStop article from CNN was about the fact that they were closing stores, how it underscores how badly retailers are performing. They do quote Jim Bell, right? So and it's just a short little blurb, and they do highlight some stuff. It's dismal 2020. They call GameStop's they call it's 2020 dismal, right? I wouldn't call that. I call it's like a potentially epic turnaround. You know what I mean? Falls an equally rough. So that's all I meant, Polygon. I didn't want. That was the most recent one I found from CNN, and I was just like, just a different tone to it. You know what I mean? Sounds bad as a headline, though, right? And all of us would agree the closure of the stores isn't bad news. Because people see that they need to sell stores means they're going bankrupt. They don't see it as them reducing expenses as a good thing. So I agree with Jen. When people see this stuff, even though you and I are be like, yeah, it's chill, it's fine, who cares? What's a big deal? But most folks who are reading this, I suspect, wouldn't or don't get that. You know what I mean? Because they're not as dialed into it as we are. They see this, and I believe that most people would say, oh, that's bad news for GameStop. You know what I mean? And that helps. It helps. It's what contributes to the pervasive bear sentiment out there. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Jem. Well said. And Musical Felony said the same thing. The normal person sees that and assumes it's due to bad business. That's right. I think they do. Now the question is, so what, right? So what if the normal person sees that and so what? Like, does that impact the stock price? Does that impact the thesis? And by and large, no. But if it's negative sentiment that has been suppressing the price, and we don't have any proof of that, right? I mean, I think there's been a lack of bullish sentiment given what I think is a hugely bullish fundamental thesis, or has been in the past. And then I don't think it's been reflected in some of these things. So yeah, anyway, I think we're all on the same page there. Polygon saying, why the hell is Modern Warfare so big on disc anyways? Yeah, I don't know. That's a big game, huh? Real big game. Shit, 250 gigs? Wow. I think it's because of the UFOs. GME Steam is building. Election bumps. Yeah, Georgia's seeing some steam building. Yep, it's building. It's not built. It's like getting started, but nothing crazy yet, which I view as like a good, as far as the long-term fundamental thesis goes. That's kind of good. Is it kind of good? It's kind of neutral. It's It's kind of neutral. You know what I mean? It's like if it blipped to 20 or 25 and then came back down. I mean, it's always, I keep on saying how it's good to have your price rising just for the narrative and the sentiment, and even from a company perspective, right? Because then you might be able to raise capital, not even at those prices, but I just mean at least people start paying attention and stuff. That reflexivity. Polygon saying, yep, announcing buybacks in the next quarter would definitely be spicy. Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that it would be spicy. I agree. That's all I got. How about somebody talked about that? But there's better things to do with capital right now. Oh, interesting. Okay. Polygon says there's better things to do with capital right now. As the price rises, it gets a little bit less clear as to the where buybacks fall in priority. You know what I mean? What's the market cap right now? I'd still say right now, though, at the current market cap, it depends. There's some variables we don't know, but interesting. Thanks for sharing, Polygon. Oh, Uber's got a call. Oh, sick. Okay. Oh, Uber's got a call with IR on Wednesday if anyone wants to submit any questions. Wow, nice, Uber. Cheers to that. Nice work, huh? Uber, you're definitely gonna have terrific questions. So good luck with that. That's sick. I'm sure you have a ton of them too, which is excellent. You know, and we were joking too when we had the conference call, the transcript we were reading through, and it'll be nice to have just some different questions on there. So Uber, so good luck with that. That's sick. Biden wins Tesla. Okay, George's got some other outcomes if Biden wins the election. Oh, Polygon. Oh yeah, so it was a Polygon saying it was a good day. How'd value do today? I saw oil did well. Yeah, look at it. I'm sure the Roaring Kitty portfolio did well today, right? Yeah. Looks like it. Look at all this green, huh? I mean, we saw how much they were up. I suppose that's not too surprising, but even still. Mike, indices will go down midterm. Money up shouldn't be an issue for GME. Okay. Polygon predicts a bold prediction from Polygon here. Polygon predicts that GameStop will move to the right on the chart. Somehow, Polygon, I don't think that's the first time that's been predicted on this stream. I think Fox may have made that prediction too. It's a bold prediction, but I stand by you, Polygon. It's moving to the right. It's moving to the right. Uber saying most random observers still think all the consoles are going digital and there won't be any more physical. Yeah, so I agree with you. So Uber's saying, yeah, there's still many folks out there who think consoles are going digital and there won't be any more physical. And a lot that we're seeing, and I know Uber has mentioned this too, is that the breakdown is that there's been tremendous demand for the physical, and it's been the lion's share of the allocations as well. And I think it's taken a long time, Uber. It's for the sentiment to shift on that. You know what I mean? That like people still seem a little bit misinformed on some of these things, but we'll see. I mean, that's it. If you have the long-term fundamental thesis, if we're right, it will be reflected in the fundamentals over time. So then it's just a waiting game. You know what I mean? But it's always a question of, this is a big part of any thesis. How quickly does it take for folks to come on board with that fundamental thesis? And it could be with GameStop that it takes. They actually need to see the free cash flow, I don't know, a good amount of free cash flow be generated by the business. Usually the market sniffs that stuff out though. Like they'd be like, oh shit, all right, it's coming next quarter. Here it comes. Sometimes the market's like looking out 3 to 6 months on this stuff. But yeah, I don't know. And then they'll see, and then it's like, I mean, because I know Uber would agree, it's almost like saying the consoles are going digital. That if people are. It's like that point is important, right? But it's almost like you and I are trying to figure out how it impacts GameStop's free cash flows, right? Because that's what matters, right? That's what matters to the stock price at the end of the day. And if it takes them a long time to come around to that, so be it. But it will ultimately be reflected in operating performance. So, and otherwise, Uber could it just take what else gets that sentiment to shift? You know what I mean? Will suddenly people just start thinking that. Like how much, I feel like it's been so well reported for those folks who are paying attention, but I don't know. So maybe people actually need to see the numbers. See you next Tuesday. Cheers, kid. Cheers, see you. Welcome back. Great to have you back. See you's back. All right. Okay, Eduardo, what would you say the market cap should be? Oh, Eduardo, I wouldn't answer that. Should be? Ooh, see, I get particular about the words that I'll use on stuff like that. You know, I should be. That's not a word I would use. So, what do you mean, Eduardo? Oh, you referring to me? What would you say? Oh, you referring to Henry? I was responding to Henry about the volume. Oh, shit, I lost track. Well, I'm going to assume you're talking to me, Eduardo. I don't know what the market cap should be. I say in what GameStop video, that second game, we talked about this on the last stream too, with that second GameStop video, what I thought fair value was of the legacy business at least. And I still think we're at a discounted price right now. That's what I think. But there's so many different variables. You always got to reassess as time passes, and yeah, let's see. It has been difficult too for those folks trying to actually apply a valuation to GameStop. It's tough because for anyone really, right? Because this is such a little bit of an unusual business model where like you can't even lean on this year's free cash flow. It's going to be so vastly different next year, and then what's it going to look like 3 years? It's really tough to value that stuff. But so who knows, Eduardo? We always have to continually assess after each quarterly performance, or even every couple quarters. That's usually what I do. I'm not updating my value every quarter. That gets tough. But yeah, we'll see. I just think that we're still on the cheap side market cap wise. That's what I'm thinking. Days to cover. Idaho reports by GameStop. Simon, what's up? Welcome back, Simon. Cheers, mate. Cheers. All right, Polygon will be happy with 25. Yeah, 25 would be sick. What's that market cap? It's 1.6 billion, but what if they bought back 10? Then it's only 1.4 billion. Now we're splitting hairs. Nah. We'll cross that bridge when it comes if we actually see buybacks of order. I agree with that. Holding the price with the low volume seems good. So Eduardo agrees, says that the price is keeping it together on crazy low volume. So that's good news. Yeah. Dark side. ARC? I don't know this. What's this? I hope this is a ticker. Remember someone was talking about those Canadian retirement accounts? I thought that was a ticker. Whoops. Oh yeah, this is the innovation ETF. Oh, this is in my this is in here, isn't it? Where is it? Innovation? Don't I have something like dedicated? Oh, innovation. I think this is it. Yeah, sick. Oh, that chart looks good. So what do they got? I agree with that. What did you say? We talked about that. Polygon and Gen. I was about to sell my ARC to buy more GME. Wow, what a good looking chart, huh? Jeez. Look at this. Look at that. See, oh, that's the monthly too. That's real overbought, huh? Look at that. See that RSI? Jeez, huh? And just for comparison, look at this. Ugh. Kathy Wood. Oh, is that for Tesla? Yeah, okay. Wait, do I get the right ticker arc? Okay, so there. Y'all playing arc, okay. The biggest brain plays here only, yeah. Okay, musical felony. 29 exposed. Oh yeah, so they're talking about short squeeze price. Short squeeze price, just I can't even. I mean, I like reading what people think, but I can't even come up with one myself. Like Hugo's talking about the real short squeeze maybe gets it to 100. You know what I mean? That's like on one of those crazy like VW type squeezes, which I don't know enough about this. Maybe you could get that. You know what I mean? For some the way some people are describing this potential short squeeze. If it's conceivable, but it seems to me unlikely. It seems. I mean, maybe most people would agree with that. But again, plus it's like I said, it's front of mind for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, if it happens, great, and then let's celebrate. But then we're cracking a whole bunch of beers. You know what I mean? Then it's a celebration. To quote Chappelle. But until then, I'm just like, okay. I always say, like, I'm just continually trying to pay attention to the downside. What's my downside? What's my downside? And the upside, go ahead. All right, go. But this is why I like to read the price targets, because I go, oh, okay, that's what Hugo's thinking. Okay, that's what Musical Felony's thinking. Okay. Jid saying $100 share price would reconcile all the things. Yeah. You got a call for, oh, yeah, that's a... It could be the catalyst. Yeah, maybe Hugo. Yeah. Yeah, I like this question. Polygon saying, here's a fun scenario that might be underweight right now. What if the election goes okay? Nothing dramatic happens. No Supreme Court fight, just a clear victory. Yeah, that's a good question. I like that. Kind of that, because most people are kind of saying it's going to be some crazy outcome. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what that means. I don't know, but I like the thought experiment. Hey, what happens if it just goes neutral? Then what's the impact? I don't even know what the impact on portfolio is no matter what happens. You know what I mean? Not just the portfolio, but the market. I suck at that stuff. You know what I mean? Like some folks are asking, like, how should you... like in the context of GameStop too, but it's like these things are very, very difficult to predict. That's why you need to have like a robust process, or yeah, I don't know. It's so tough to try to play these things that it almost makes it not worth the effort for some folks. For everyone has their own unique style. Given the VIX futures, you'd think nationwide. Yeah, what's the VIX at? It's not really doing anything, right? What do you think? Maybe it's getting back up there. Starting to rise again a little bit. I guess that like something would be too surprising with folks though, right? Okay. Oh yeah, ask about buybacks. I don't think they can disclose anything about buybacks on that call. I don't think so. I suspect that we'd if anything, if there were any, it would probably be on earnings. But worth a shot, Edward. Okay, all right. See you next. Okay, when the dollar collapses, pre-owned games will be the backing for the new gold standard. GameStop will be absorbed by the Federal Reserve, and Roaring Kitty will be appointed comptroller. Oh my god. Oh shit, that's funny. Oh boy, with the dollar. Yeah, okay. So now that would be fitting with 2020, huh? See you, huh? Where are we at here? What is the dollar doing, by the way? Ah, no, that's not it. Oh, it's coming back down, huh? Coming back down. David, did you see the recent article from Molly Fool starting there? No, I didn't. 3 stocks that can make. I did see that, but we were having a laugh too because Because wasn't there another Motley Fool just like a couple days prior that was like kind of bearish on GME, David's talking about there was a Motley Fool one. I didn't pull it up, but hold on, let me see if I can. No, I did see it. I did see it, actually. Do I got it here? Yeah, so this is a good call bringing this up, David. I had, when did this come out? 3 days ago? Yeah, the beginning of the week. Even still, this kind of not as prominent like they've come up with so many GameStop articles that because with each extra one, it kind of they lose their value a little bit. Plus, there's been so many, I've felt, I believe, Motley Fool articles that didn't do a good job of covering the stock. Even still, it's good to see, just for a change. You know what I mean? And it's just a couple of paragraphs, right? There's not much here, but even still, thanks, David, for bringing that up. It's worth a mention. I should have had it pulled up just to say, hey, there's another example of just a little bit of a changing sentiment, especially maybe it's even more meaningful. I got this wrong. It's even more meaningful but that's the thing. I think sometimes they might just be cranking them out and then you're trying to get people to click and stuff, so it's tough. But even still, nevertheless, your point stands, David. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that could make you. I think that was funny. What did they say? Yeah, like they cover the e-commerce stuff. There's many factors around GameStop that are attention grabbing. You know what I mean? Like this. Some people are tagged, and I think the CNN one too, talking about the 800% year over year. Like at the time, I mean, that was a huge number. I thought, oh, this is sick and whatever. But it's interesting. That's catching people's attention. You know what I mean? That's good. And there's other stuff related to GameStop too that could that you can toss in here, right? 1/5 of its sales. Wait, right? Okay, so now we're getting nitpicky, right? I mean, oh yeah, no, this looks okay. Combine its market cap, EV to free cash flow. Okay, yeah, even still, yeah. Let me toss that in with the other ones. Yeah, that's another one, huh? What we gotta look at, but now what I'm gonna look out for is some bearish ones. You know what I mean? It will come. Didn't we just see a Motley Fool one that was bearish? Could have sworn we did. Oh, there we go. Polygon. Thank you, Polygon. Polygon says, Motley Fool has put out 3 different articles with 3 different conclusions. Thank you, Polygon. I thought I was going a little bit crazy there for a second. All right, that's, you know what I mean? Then that's what I mean. Then they become a little bit less meaningful. But even still, to David's point, just saying, hey, pull it up. They talk about that. It's a little changing sentiment. It's been having a bearish article on GameStop has been such low-hanging fruit in many's eyes over the past year that even still, to have a different angle is a change is a noteworthy change. Ryan M, cheers. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Cheers, Ryan. Cheers, Ryan. Streaming from work. Greetings. All right. We're in Ryan M's market in the workplace. Circ. Cheers. Oh, that's awesome. Crazy motorized, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think someone had mentioned that. See you saying the September 1st, GME posted a job opening in Grapevine for an omni-channel online acquisition manager, which is still posted. They're absolutely trying to create a seamless online experience. They're also looking to hire a global tax vice president. Finances are only going to... Yep. Yeah. So that's good. That's good to see. They had posted a whole bunch of job openings a while back too. I had seen. Johan, welcome. My teens are teaching me to play Fortnite on PS4. I think they want a PS5. All right. Well, you tell them. You're doing your best. Let's see what we can make it. Well, then you got to deal with the pre-order mess too, right? If you can. That's the thing. I wonder how long it will take for everyone who wants one to get one. Could take some time. I don't know enough about that. But I wonder if there's going to be another round of pre-orders too. Because now I'm like, even I've been trying to keep an eye out for this stuff. But that's good, Johan. You'll be ready to go. You learn Fortnite on PS4. You'll be ready to go to PS5. You'll be able to take them down. The proposed stimulus pushes back. Oh, okay. Hey, Fox. Hello, Fox. Welcome back. Welcome back on a Monday. Cheers, Fox. Cheers. Mr. Burns is here. Go back to work, guys. Sir Fox. Fox is here. Everyone, get back to work. There was nothing. Everyone, get back to work. Everyone, no messing around here. He's here. We gotta do some serious research now. Oh, not the current VIX roaring kitty. The futures for November. Oh, okay. So, Polygon, you were just saying the VIX starts going crazy. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Which it could. You'd expect it. Yeah, you'd expect it to rise. Feel the burns. I'm almost caught up. Sick. Oh, what can I do? Can I do it by 8? Here we go. Who's Idaho? George, who's Idaho reporter? October 5th. If they get more consistent financial results and improve the PU. Idaho reporter? Hey, George, I don't know who that is, but if, I'm always interested in, if there's new analysis somewhere that I didn't come across. Is it a poster? I don't know. Fox, are you giving real questions? Fox saying, ask investor relations the typical dates when the board meets. And then says, ask George what framework GME uses for deciding buybacks, both stock and debt. Yeah, I mean, they're not, Fox, they're not going to give an answer. What you see in the 10Q, you see boilerplate language, right? But they probably just give this answer. What is it? Would it be capital allocation? Is that it? I forget where it was, but they said something like they would do it. That was boilerplate stuff. I forget. Yeah, worth the question though, huh? Hey, Eric. Oh, Uber's gonna try to call George Sherman directly. He wants his direct line. Let me at him. Yeah. Trey, what's up, Trey? Cheers. Welcome, Trey. Welcome. Now it's a party. Now we got a party going. Let's do it. Then watch investor relations dance. Yeah, they probably get some. Everyone liked the stream. Oh, thank you, Trey. Trey, good looks. Trey saving the stream, everybody. Oh, thank you, Trey. You see that, Trey? Musical Felony says, every time I see Trey's name, it reminds me to like the stream. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's great, huh? Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Trey's saying either one more round of pre-orders. Oh, or none most likely. Oh, really, Trey? Thank you for sharing. Wow. I was wondering if this time they were going to do it like maybe just more than usual because I guess not. Okay. Wow, and you even think that even none most likely. Wow. My other question, Trey, would be like, let's say you don't get to the pre-orders, Trey. Like, will you be able to get one in November? Like, do you think you'll be able to get one okay? That would be my question to you. Or anyone else might have strong opinions on that, but I'm just curious, like, what's your perspectives today, and are they reflective of others, or I don't know. Okay, wow, none, okay. Gotta support Roaring Kitty, yeah. Thank you, Trey. Yeah, this is, I think they say, Trey, I'm learning as I go here. Steve's told me, and Trey's told me, the likes and the views help, but even just, we're just here having a good time. This is great, too, but if that stuff helps, that's great. Thank you, Trey. Trey's always looking out, Thank you, George. Okay, Cheyenne, welcome, Cheyenne. Welcome, cheers. Best case scenario, what is your price target, Roaring? Ooh. $1 million. a million stock price, the $1 million stock price, a billion stock price. You know what I mean? I know. I'm just what a terrible answer. I honestly just don't think about it that much. But I know what you mean. You mean like what's the reasonable up? You know what I mean? Time to shake the magic. Oh, I did. So I'm almost caught up yet, but I did just see that come through. Thank you. Fox bailing me out. Cheyenne, this is what I've got to do. And we'll say, let's say $100. Let's say $100 for the stock price. Let's see. This what I focused on the downside, right? But it comes to the upside. And check out the video. There's a video I uploaded to the channel that I say when I say I'm investing in a stock based on field, but this is also based on field, the upside. What's the upside? You know what I mean? Could the upside be $100 for GameStop? Cannot predict now. Cannot predict now. We gotta ask a little bit later, Cheyenne. Okay. We'll ask in a little bit. Do I got anything else? I got the Uno and the bananagrams. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I've been thinking more about market cap. I was thinking the fair value of the legacy business could be upwards of $2 billion. It could. Of just the legacy business. You know what I mean? And I was originally thinking like up to 1.5 market cap, 1.5 billion. Then I'm like, now with this revitalized omni-channel experience and stuff, maybe 2, maybe 2.5. But then it starts to get a little bit tenuous as you keep getting up there. Plus, I don't have enough information. I need kind of more information to substantiate that. But kind of what I've seen over the past month, I think, you know what? Maybe it's worth a little bit more. But then there's the whole if they transform themselves. You know what I mean? Into like they're able to grow alongside the gaming industry, looking out 10 years. That we can all confidently say they're still around 10 years down the line. And then it's a different business model. I don't even know what it looks like. But then there's that whole. I mean, you assign even I've been saying what 10%, 20, not even 20% probability, maybe 20% probability. And then discount those free cash flows back, and then you get quite a bit higher. So, I don't know. I mean, what was that? The peak market cap before was like 6. Wasn't like 6 billion in that range of it. 4. I could see, at least I could entertain $50 a share, but you were looking out long, you know what I mean? Looking out long term, you know what I mean? I can't do the short, forget the squeeze stuff, forget Cheyenne. I don't know if you're asking about short term stuff. But I don't have any short term, just for what it's worth. I don't have no short term. I can't do that. I don't know how anyone does that. Even the analysts have like 12-month targets. I don't even have a 12-month target. Best case scenario. I mean, it's a tough. These are the tough questions. That's what I don't do. I'm like, I don't care. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with this upside stuff. I just need to make sure my downside, and then the rest of it will take care of it. But indeed, I need to at least consider it, Cheyenne, for averaging out. You know what I mean? But I mean, $20-$25 within like 6 months, 12 months would be good. But this is so, I'm just like tossing shit out there. But I can at least see $50 per share down the line if some of this stuff comes to fruition that some of us have been talking about. Remember, it's a reduced share count too. So $50 per share today is obviously vastly different than what $50 a share was. I mean, it's half of what it was in the beginning of the last cycle. But yeah, so for what that's worth, and that's why I made sure to include that, because yours is a good question, even though I'm kind of just bouncing around here. But I included those figures in that second GameStop video I uploaded for that reason, because you need some context from me to understand at least where my head's at. So at the time, the market cap was like $260 million, and I'm like, there's no, it's highly, highly unlikely it's worth less than $250. I mean, I really couldn't see how it could be worth. But then I thought a more realistic valuation, a low, what I consider fairly conservative, was $500 million. And then, and this is before Ryan Cohen got involved. I mean, we still haven't heard much from him. But then I thought 500 to 1.5 billion. But then I think over the past month, I'm willing to up it just a little bit. So we'll see. But yeah. But it's tough. If anyone has penciled through like discounted cash flow analysis for a company like this, these are the types of ones. And I think I view this as like, this is why there's opportunity with a stock like this. You know what I mean? Because it's difficult to do discounted free cash flow analysis on a stock like this, because who the hell knows? Ooh, some people don't even think, some people are just automatically assigning terminal value of 0. Boom, done. And I'm just like, well, what if it ain't 0, you know? And then it could be worth way more, maybe. And then, but like it's difficult because historical performance isn't necessarily an indication of this future performance. Like it could be vastly different, and it's real tough to do that kind of analysis. But good questions. If Jamie Moons, I'm donating. No, not to the channel. Nice find on posting, by the way. Delete for Chewy. Okay. Thanks, Johan. Smash coming in to drop a like. Can't stay for today. Cheers. Thank you, Smash just joined just to drop a like. Appreciate that. Musical Fidelity buying Roaring Kitty's PS5. No way I would take that musical. No way if GME moons. Yeah, you're right. The channel will it would definitely be, the channel will evolve if that happens for sure. Blessed Spear says, why doesn't GME just mark up consoles by 10 to 15%? Looks like demand is strong. Free profit. Interesting. I don't know how that will go over with consumers, but I like the I like the thinking about free cash flow angle. That's interesting. Failing. Big hint to the recovery. Oh, shit. Okay, so Trey is saying, Trey, answer me. I'm not optimistic about getting a system by launch. Shit. Okay. Just curious, Trey. Thanks for sharing. And then if you still think that you're going to get one in November or by year end, surely, right? Like we're not put against some crazy scenario here. I know none of us really know for sure. But I was just trying to gauge a feel, right? What's going through Trey's mind. That's all. Oh, okay. He had a friend who'd pre-order one. Okay, cool. That'd be great. I hope he does help you out, Trey. Right. Eduardo says, I would buy from the cheaper source. No reason to prefer GM if they're up. Well, yeah, blessed to say they're sold out, so you can't get one anywhere. Bad publicity, right? I don't know if it's good for the marketing. You know what I mean? On the flip side, I mean, there's some people pointing out how GameStop's bundling all their stuff, right? But so it's not vastly different, but even still. Oh, it bumped on me. Okay. I think the point is to keep their clients, not to scare them away. I would not do it just for the short-term gain. I know. I mean, in theory, blessed, yeah, there would be a short-term. It would be a short-term boost, but there could be long-term drawbacks to doing that, right? I think blessed is just tossing it out there. So why not? You know, I like that. I like that thinking. Why not? Convince me. Decompose that 1.5 to 2.5 billion. Well. Fox, in my video, I said 500 million to 1.5 billion, just to clarify. I don't know what I just said when I was just talking. I was saying I was trying to bump up. I might be bumping it up, too. The bump up would be, I expect that maybe the free cash flows would be a little bit higher because of their revamped omnichannel experience that with the app. And then I saw, like, the e-commerce growth was much quicker than I was appreciating at the time. But, Fox, I uploaded 3 GameStop videos. The second one was where I forget. I don't remember where I went into each aspect. But it all started with book value, where I felt book value was as like a starting point, and then just forecasting some free cash flows, looking out just a couple of years from the legacy business, and then just kind of just tossing some numbers together, seeing what sticks as far as transforming itself. You know what I mean? But that can be picked apart so easily. But that's really just it, Fox. I mean, it's I was just looking at historically how they performed too at the beginning of the last cycle, which is. Again, not a perfect indication as to how they're going to perform this time, but it's something. You know what I mean? I need something to hang my hat on. I think that's what I said in the video. It's like you need something to go off of. And so I was kind of leaning on that and saying, even if they perform at a fraction of what they did at the last cycle. And I felt as though that there was a higher chance of them pulling that off because of how they've been, because of what they did over the past 18 months, this new management team, reducing costs, improving working capital management, de-densifying this, like they were doing the shit, and then of course now we're getting into more of this omni-channel type stuff, where making sure they get the app up and running, they get the same day delivery, e-commerce grew 800% or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that was stuff I didn't know at the time I was doing my GameStop videos, and so now what was I going with that? But so what I was saying is that I think there's a great chance that they can perform and generate a fraction of what they did on the free cash flow front at the beginning of the last cycle. And it's because some of the stuff is going unseen by the masses because this has been such a shitty year. This was always going to be a shitty year for GameStop, but everyone's overly focused on that. And I'm like, yo, they might perform better than people are realizing because of the shit they're doing right now that isn't so glamorous. But it's like I can't think of a better phrase. The nuts and bolts of what they're supposed to be doing, and I think they're setting themselves up for success. And with that in mind, some of my free cash flow forecasts, which I don't remember what they were off the top of my head, Fox. They got me into that range, and then lately I've been thinking, shit, maybe they can sell a bit more online, and they may be able to recoup some of the free cash flow they generated in the last cycle too. That's where I was kind of elevating stuff a bit, and then Ryan Cohen got involved too. So maybe some of these are blending. So that upward valuation is kind of like maybe Ryan Cohen can help with some of those things, but I still don't know enough about it. So the analysis gets hairy, as you know, but that's where I was coming at this from. Like I think they might generate like a shit ton of free cash flow from over forget this quarter. I mean, other people aren't, but I'm forgetting the current quarter. I don't even care. That's what I mean. I know. I think it was Fox who asked me too. What's it going to take for me to change my thesis? Like, I don't think there's anything that could come out of this quarterly. Like, they could suck this quarter, and I don't think it would change my thesis. Like, this was priced in for me. And I think their balance sheet is even stronger than what I thought. What I thought it could be in a pretty shitty year. And so I'm like, all right, then Q3 is I don't even care about Q3, but then Q4 and thereafter, like, I think they could generate quite a bit of free cash flow. Looking out the 4 quarters following that. We'll see, though. We'll know soon enough. Oh, okay. Thank you, George. Okay, Out of Our Hole Report is a free news service launched by Freedom. Okay. Oh, okay. Thanks for sharing, George. I've never heard of it. All right, I'll have to take a peek at that, sharing some GameStop views from that service. I'll take a peek, George. Yeah, okay, so Trey's hopping in there, too, about that. Yeah, Trey was saying he doesn't like the artificial restriction in the amount of consoles that can be pre-ordered. Yeah, yeah. Oh shit, Fox. Fox just got it on the record. No, I love Fox. I love how that's all you said, right? There's no all you said was $50, October 5th, 2020, 8:04 on the record. Thanks a lot, Fox. You know what? Jeez, huh? Oh, that's funny. I just I know Fox is messing with me, but but if I can clarify for clarification's sake, it's just I can at least see that $100 gets a really that's real tenuous for me to see, because I mean forget the short squeeze stuff. I can't even short squeeze. I don't know, $1,000 price point. You know what I mean? Who's to say what it could go in? I have no idea. It could go 15, could go 100. I don't know. But looking up the actual value of the business, I could see. And let's say, but I've been thinking about buybacks too. So sometimes when I've been coming up with my value, I've been like, I'm kind of assuming, not assuming I shouldn't be, but I'm like, they could have bought back like a bunch of shares, and then the market cap is like is quite a bit different. You know what I mean? Yeah, but 55. Let's say they bought back 10 million shares, just a hypothetical. Please, please, please. And then I'm like, a $50 price point. That's 2.8 billion. Like, I don't even think that's that crazy of a market cap personally. And I'm biased, I suppose, because I'm long. But and part of that though is that kind of they really need to remember. And here, can I pull up my infamous Best Buy comparison? Best Buy, 30 billion. I swear it was just 27 billion. Is it up big over the past week or something? Not really. 30 billion. You know what I mean? 30 billion. What is Best Buy doing? What is Best Buy doing that GameStop can't do? Yes, they sell other stuff besides games. I get this. But I just mean, that's 30 billion. GameStop at $50 per share, if they bought back 10 million, is 2.8. I mean, like, I see this stuff and I think, who knows what's possible with like a true kick-ass omni-channel experience. You know what I mean? That gets real tough. And then I'm just like, but if that's going to happen, go happen. I don't think, I legit go out of my way. I just don't even think about it that much. But, you know what I mean? It's easy to get there, but, well, that would take time, I think. Okay. Cheyenne. Oh, cheers. I said Cheyenne's name correctly. Thank you. I said cheers. All right. Cheers to you as well. I have to go to work, but watch stream later. Oh, thank you. And thanks for joining. I'm glad you hopped on to ask a question. It was a good question, too. Thanks for asking it. So many of these are good questions, you know? Sometimes they talk so much, and everyone's like, well, wait a second. Can you just answer this? I'm like, damn, that's a good question. Yes, I can and I should. Okay, so Uber's boldly proclaiming there will be physical disk drives when the Gen 10 consoles come out in 6 to 8 years. Oof. I mean, right now, I'd probably agree with that, right? I'd probably agree with that, Uber, right? I don't know. Maybe we are in the minority. Physical disk drives when yeah, I mean, let's see. Especially what we've heard so far. It seems like so many folks, and it seems like the breakdown has been far more heavily weighted toward physical than even many people were thinking, or even for this console cycle. But we'll see. Sometimes this technology can grow, well, not exponentially, but yeah, we'll see. I know Moore's Law and all that, and 6 to 8 years. Yeah, I'm on board with that, Uber. I like that. Oh shit. Polygon, you making fun of me? Did I say if it's not zero, it could be worth more? Oh shit, Polygon, that is funny. That sounds like something I say. Roy Kitty, wise philosopher of the YouTube. I mean, I guess that's kind of what I said. If it's not zero, it could be worth more. That's kind of how I think about these. Is it a zero? No, it's not a zero? All right, so yeah, I'll give this stock some capital there. Oh, that's funny. That's good. Hugo, any thoughts on trading options? Yeah, the options these days are looking expensive, aren't they? Looking kind of I talk about options on one of my investment style videos, so if you haven't seen them, check it out, because like you got to be real. I think in general it's good to be picky. This is options aren't for everybody, right? Hopefully that goes without saying. Not the narrative recommendation, blah blah blah. But in general, if you were interested in options and stuff, I'd say you got to be really picky about when you're buying them. And I'd say lately they're kind of looking kind of expensive. Oh, this is bad. I'm like $100 strike. Who's buying $100 strikes? At this point, they're seeming kind of rich, aren't they? What's this, October? October, November, January. Yeah, it's tough, you know? Who knows? It's tough. Then you now and then I mean you're only, that's the thing. And then you got the time issue with with these options too. In general, I wouldn't share any thoughts on trading options at this point of where GameStop currently is in the thesis. It's like it gets real messy. This is the case with so many options. Like they could, if the thesis does work out in a certain way, even at this point they could go up quite a bit more. But there's also an increased chance that they expire. No, I don't know. That it's real messy analysis that it can be difficult to like voice an opinion on. You know what I mean? I mean increased volatility. Look at this. The implied volatility is getting up there, huh? Just. Hugo, I don't even know if that question was directed to me. And I also trading options. Trading options is tough. Usually, I often view options as like a bolt-on to like you have a stock thesis, right? And again, options aren't for everybody, and it may not be suitable for you if you're tuning into the stream. Blah 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 blah. Like the options are just so risky that I feel like the extra need to say that again. You know what I mean? They expire worthless. You know what I mean? Then you lose the what you put into to acquire them. But usually I view them as like a bolt-on to a stock thesis. You know what I mean? In this case, but now it gets difficult with what GameStop, all that's been happening with GameStop lately. Yeah, Trey says that too. The short term can be real tough. Playing that like Hugo, you're asking about like trading options, but like that stuff's really tough. Like short-term plays on options. I don't even know that much about like short-term plays on options. I don't even know. I know there's a lot of different strategies out there that people employ. Like I don't do the short-term point. Okay. Camel buy shares. Yeah. So some people playing the option. Yeah. But yeah, check out my investment style videos. Like I deal in options. I do. I just it's like I don't do those short-term trading type things that other folks might be much more experienced than myself at them. To even offer an opinion on that stuff. I view it as more like if I have a thesis on a stock, it'll be like, all right, is there associated catalyst with it? And are they trading cheaply enough relative to where I think the stock price could be ahead of that type of thing? But now GameStop's price has been bid up quite a bit, and so it's almost like what happens is with some of the stocks is the options will reach a point where you almost get priced out of them, you know. So I don't even have an opinion on where they're trading right. I don't know. It depends. That's the thing. Like what is it? What do we have for January? It's tough. What's the price right now? $9.46. Yeah, I don't know. What are they down today? Oh yeah. You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, okay. Trey saying with COVID plus the already restricted supply, Xbox already tweeted there may not be any more pre-orders until launch date. Oh, thanks, Trey. I didn't see that. I guess time will tell, but I think looking at videos, graphic cards, that's okay. Fox, just 10 times the e-commerce stuff. I know. So some people do that. You know what I mean? But for that to happen, Fox, as I know, you know, if people started viewing GameStop as a growth company, you joke. But if they did, if they started viewing, but that takes time. It's one thing to say if sentiment changes and GameStop can get bid up, but that's because it trades so cheaply. But to Fox points, like if it starts getting, not to Fox points, he's just saying 10 times e-commerce stuff, as some companies will trade at those types of valuations. But like if GameStop starts being viewed as that, forget about it. I mean, it could be worth significantly more, but who's to say who has any idea if the market will ever price it like that? That's more difficult. It's more difficult to change the market sentiment about a stock than it is to just start from scratch. You know what I mean? Like I agree, like it's just like blue skies ahead or just green shoots. Like who knows? It could go to infinity and beyond. Oh, we made that joke, Fox. Didn't we make that joke? Or you made that joke? I can't remember how. If it's a new company, you don't even know what's possible. But it's a little bit more difficult for a GameStop because it's a little bit more fixed in reality. So, but even if not 10 times e-commerce, even if just a multiple of it, who knows? Someday, maybe, but probably no time soon. What did I miss? Okay. But Hugo, selling puts and cover calls. Yeah, okay. So Hugo, so Hugo, what you're doing, I don't even have opinions on that. That's what you're talking about, the trading type stuff. And lots of people have different strategies as to how they do those short-term trades and covering their costs by selling puts or whatever it is. And usually don't do that short-term stuff. Yeah. Uber care. So Uber's saying the masses won't care unless they see the numbers like Bed Bath & Beyond, right? That's what I mean. And it might be, right, Uber? It might be. But I don't. But the one thing GameStop has going for it that Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't, for better or worse, maybe it hurts them, is that like there's a major catalyst here that people could be talking about and thinking, how can I play this, blah blah blah. But Bed Bath & Beyond didn't have that. But who knows? Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. That's the only thing. But even still, to your point, maybe it will take them to actually see the numbers, see the holiday sales numbers, see the Q4 numbers. You would think that would kickstart stuff if it's not kicked off, if it's not kickstarted by then, and then Q1 and so forth. So that's why if you're looking out, it's a bit easier to do the analysis if you're looking out 12 months than it is just a couple. Fox. So if Ryan Cohen pulls out, you're exposed to massive downside. If Ryan Cohen gets more involved, your upside is capped. Not sure this is the best. Okay. So Fox voicing his opinion on those option strategies. Let the masses eat cake. Uber's going to ask for clarification around Georgia's market share comment allocations. Yeah, who was it? Was it Uber who shared what I appreciated when you copied and pasted the comments from whomever saying that they were roughly in line with the last console cycle? That was good enough for me. I believe that was a direct quote. Was it a direct quote from the transcript, the conference call transcript? Fox keeping us honest since September 2020. Ain't that the damn truth? Yeah, Fox keeping us with like $50 price target, $100 price target, $1,000 price target. Fox is like, yeah, but well, what if Ryan Cohen walks? You know? Actually, oh shit. I guess Best Buy actually benefited from COVID, which is surprising to me. Yeah, well, Best Buy was able to keep their doors open the whole time, which was a little bit. They were, but GameStop wasn't. That was a little bit unusual. There might not be another generation of consoles. We could be moved to another format entirely. That's true, Polygon. Who was it? Spencer was talking about this in some article where they were asking about the future of gaming and stuff. He was voicing some opinions on this, trying to think through what the next generation of consoles might look like. Oh, do I have that? Next gen console. Ah, shit. I don't know where it is. I gotta track it down somewhere else. I don't know. Digital won't take off completely until internet is universally available at high speeds and games can be highly compressed for digital. That's the thing. Games are so big, right? Yeah, that's what Trey's saying. He's like, hey, unless you got the really, we talked about that earlier, fast speeds, and it's gonna be tough. Game streaming or combined PC, console, smart TVs, enter Starlink. Streaming could work, but with latency, it becomes hard to have any level of competitive. That's the thing. I asked this before. Are there any competitive gamers out there who would buy the digital version? If anyone knows, that's a question I still don't know the answer to. I just think Trey's talking about when it comes to competitive games and stuff, you can't be messing around with streaming and stuff, right? Or digital games and stuff. I don't think so, but maybe. How long did it take for some of the CDs and DVDs to be phased out? Right, but the one thing, well, it's a little bit different, Fox. Your point still stands, but these games are getting increasingly complex along with the technology. I mean, and to a degree, some of the CDs and some of the music and movies were as well, but I feel like gaming is a little bit more complex than that because they can do more, but if anyone disagrees, you can let me know. So not that it wouldn't happen, just that it might take a little bit more time because just the games get like Modern Warfare not fitting on it doesn't even fit on there anymore. You know what I mean? Like the games they take advantage of the increased size so that they can make better games, and they kind of move a little bit in tandem. People still have okay. All right, so a good discussion here about this. No, surely none of us. Yep. Musical. Oh yeah, musical. I didn't even see that 100 strikes. That was for Best Buy. I had up the wrong ticker there. Sorry about that. No, yeah, those are. I had the wrong company. Sorry, Polygon. I was confused by that too. Also, preservation of media is a solid reason for physical. All right, good discussion here. Okay, Fox disagrees. Says that he thinks that this may be the last gen with discs, but I also think it'd be irrelevant for GME by then. Either way, they evolve or they eat dust. So I'd agree with that, Fox. I bet Uber does too. That GameStop has to reinvent itself, has to transform by the rollout of the next console cycle. They cannot be as dependent as they currently are on disc playing consoles. You know what I mean? So they that's the thesis, right? That this console cycle was going to allow them to re-engage with guests, generate some excess free cash flow so they could use it to reinvent themselves, to become more, just transform themselves, whatever the hell that might be. So it might be a little bit less relevant for them. But still definitely worth thinking about, right? Powerful decision-making, 8 ball of wisdom. Oh, yeah, I know. Like that, Ryan? Yeah. You always got to keep it close, Ryan. You always got to keep... Oh, did I scroll too far? Shit. Oh, shit. Am I falling behind? Yeah, this is Ryan now. That's just in case. You always, oh, wait. What were we going to ask? Oh, shit. What was the question? Oh, is GameStop going to hit... Wow, I don't remember what for $100 per share? Ask again later. I swear. Ask again later, it says. You see that? Oh, shit. I think you can. Can you? Oh, I'm losing it. It said it. Huge PS2 client, 5-6 years. Ticker's timing. Yep. I agree with that. That's the thing. So Fox is saying how the GameStop probably has 5 to 6 years. Timer's ticking. I think, but... I think a lot of people, they see that too, and they think, and then they'll just move on, right? Because they think, oh, the risk of having to turn yourself around, blah, blah, blah. But I think still the basis for any, the value of any stock is the free cash flow that it will generate. You know what I mean? Even if it were true, even if it's true that GameStop, maybe they don't reinvent themselves. You know what I mean? Say they don't reinvent themselves, and the terminal value is zero. I'm not saying that's the case, but for hypothetically, it is zero. The stock could still be cheap. And I understand why people don't want to touch that. I get that part. So it's not their style. But the stock could still be cheap because of how much free cash flow they would generate in that time. And I know most folks in this stream get that part. But I see some bear takes out there, and I don't think people realize that they think, you know what I mean? Like it's the free cash flows that dictate what a fair value for GameStop's legacy business is. And then so in those 5, I know Fox knows that, but I feel like other people I sometimes see their bear takes, and I think, oh, I don't think you have a firm grasp as to what's at base, what is grounding all these stock price. I mean, then you see some stock prices out there. You go, what the hell does it have to do to free cash flows? I'm like, all right, good point, because they traded such a premium to it, right? But at the end of the day, that really is what it is. It's just a question of debating the variables that go into the calculation. You know what I mean? Growth and so forth. All effects. All right, good discussion here. Talk about PC gaming. I like this. How many games are just lost to time that have massive following? Many people can't engage with PC gaming simply because of network issues. Who says I'm joking? Oh, I don't know what you're joking. I'm too late, Fox. I don't know what you might have been joking about. In fact, it's much easier to preserve old games. Good dialogue here. Uber was stealing some puts too, yeah. Yes, okay, Uber. Uber was saying, yes, the market share commentary was straight from the second quarter earnings release. I'm going to ask them to clarify Wednesday. Sick. And that's good enough for me, Uber. You know what I mean? As an individual investor, so Uber had shared in the chat a couple streams ago that management, I think it was a Q&A. I believe it was a Q&A. And I might even be able to just pull it up here real quick. Give me a word. What can I command F? Allocation. Okay. Here we go. Look at that. Whoa! Isn't it great? You do the command F, one word, and you get it. Sick! Let's go. So George said this is this isn't Q&A. Oh, it is Q&A. So Steph Wissink, who we've seen, her name was in here too. I've seen her name in a number of places too because she's clearly an analyst following the story. I'm pretty sure. No. Wasn't she here? Yeah, she's here too. Jeffries. So she must have been the one who upgraded stock too. So she had asked a question. I don't know if it was about allocations, but then George says, "Let me start off with the allocations for the new consoles. And I would just say that they're in line with expectations and probably with prior releases as well. Remember, because I don't have the full information. They don't have the whole thing. That's good enough for me. You know what I mean? For my type of a thesis, that's good enough for me. I just needed to make sure." I don't know if I've said it on the stream. I don't know if I said it in my GameStop videos. I just needed to make sure that they at least, of course, survive till the console cycle, right? Which, of course, I strongly believe that they would. But also that their balance sheet was strong enough, yada, 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 that they would get the allocations. And that was why some people were critiquing them about the lack of share buybacks and stuff. And I remember thinking, who knows, though? It could be that the vendors and suppliers, when you have, maybe someone had said that, like, when GameStop's credit rating wasn't all that great. And so it's like, even with what I consider a stronger balance sheet these days, it's still kind of not all that great. So I don't think the vendors, I don't know, I think it has an impact on their thinking, right, as to how much they're going to allocate to each retailer. They don't want to allocate some to a retailer that weren't going to be not going to be able to open its doors in a couple of months, right? Even though that was highly unlikely with GameStop. But sometimes maybe they just do a quick analysis looking at the credit rating, whatever it is. And so at this time, I'm like, oh, shit, you know, and I think maybe Fox, you had asked me, what's my downside? And that was this has been one of my downsides looking out the past like 6 months, where I'm like, hell, even if they survive, if the vendors are disappointed with how they've been performing or getting nervous too, they might just not allocate to them. Then that's a knock against the thesis. I'm like, you can't generate the free cash flow if you don't have the product to sell and stuff. So now this is enough to put me at ease. Now this was September, and they said they're in line with expectations, probably with prior releases as well. There are elements of this that we don't know. They said it right there. There you go. Like we learned the price, so we know that. We don't know what the breakout looks like. So just very much this, yeah. So anyway, good luck, Uber. Good luck with that question. It's a good question, and for my thesis, this was good enough for me. But yeah, I mean, any new intel there is probably going to help you as well. I'm sure. It'll be huge. It'll be discussed. Oh, did Trump tweet? Trump said on Twitter tonight, maybe I'm immune. I don't know. Vaccines are coming momentarily. Possible market pump and dump tomorrow. Green in the morning. Oh, what's the market doing? Futures. Futures for shits and giggles. Flat. Okay. Polygon saying competitive gaming on PC is diskless. Who has a star? Oh, on PC, right? In PC, all right. Fair point. Polygon. In PC gaming is at the vanguard of esports. So that's true. Who has a StarCraft 2 disc still? All right, good point, Polygon. I was thinking more of the consoles, but you're right. For the PC gaming, who cares? And Starlink solves some of the latency issues. Okay, thanks for sharing, Polygon. Well, a lot of talk about Starlink, huh? Jen mentioned it too. I'm not as familiar with Starlink as I think y'all are. Fox prefers the PC versions. This is why it's good. GameStop's getting in the PC space, and everyone here has been saying that too. But even this chat here is reinforcing that even more. If I play with PC, goes back to reading them. This is why it all goes back to reading the proxy for companies like this. Wait, why does it all go back to reading the proxy and corp gov for companies like this? Oh, I missed you. Okay. I'm going to say PC isn't the best place. Okay, Fox, it could. But that depends on management not investing cash flow generated badly. Not investing. So Fox, I said this in my GameStop video. I said this. The market has been betting on two things: imminent obsolescence for what their business model is, the shit that they're selling and so forth, but also management incompetence. The market was betting on two things, that both things were inevitable. But absolutely, a management team could screw this shit up, right? So I get that part. That's an integral part of my thesis. I don't agree so much that it all goes back to reading the proxy and corp gov for companies like this. For a company like this, I might view that as a little bit marginal, with the exception that if we knew how they were incentivized, the comp model, you know what I mean? Specifically as it pertains to compensation, where if we knew, like, this just came up in Steve Massini's article. We were talking about RH. Wasn't RH incentivized to get the stock price higher? Someone said that somewhere. But other than that, I look at this stuff, but I will say, Fox, as my investment style has matured, I've been looking at them less. I don't know how you feel about that. I know you always get the 10K up. I'd be curious about your take on that. But indeed, that management could screw this up has always been front of mind for me for 18 months. As I said, when they first announced they weren't going to do the buybacks, I was like, I don't remember. I can't remember when my first purchase was, but I remember thinking, all right, well then I'm moving. I mean, this isn't for me. If they're not going to do the buybacks, you got to do the buybacks. Blah blah blah. But then the whole time I'm thinking, that's just one aspect of them turning around this business. They got to do so much more shit. They got to do so much more just to get them there. And so I've been nervous, but I've been keeping a close eye on them, Fox, over the past 12 months. More than that, right? 15 months, making sure that they were on the right track. So that's why this proxy vote come June, I was paying attention to the headlines and stuff like that, but I had my own opinion because I had been judging them very carefully along the way to make every quarterly release. I was checking to see how the business performed and so forth, but I was very careful making sure that they weren't messing up in a big way. They made it abundantly clear early on too, which I really liked, that they weren't going to mess up with some dumbass acquisitions and shit. So I'm like, that was big. Like, they were saying the stuff so that stuff mattered to me more, Fox, than anything I would see in the proxy. It just did in this particular case, where I was really trying to get a feel. That doesn't mean I haven't been blindsided by management teams before. I have. I could have been by this one. As it turned out, it doesn't look like that's the case so far. But so anyway, I've been assessing them on an ongoing basis up to this point. But your point still stands. That's not to say that once they have the free cash flow that they're necessarily going to successfully reinvent themselves. They might not. Maybe they. First of all, and I definitely said this in one of my videos. The first is the question of, Fox, can they even reinvent themselves? Can they even do it? Is there a business model? Is there a sustainable business model here that can persist 5, 10, 15 years down the line? It doesn't even exist. And there's a lot of people who feel strongly that it doesn't, right? You know what I mean? That was kind of a big reason for the price to be dragging along where it was. But even if it does exist, can the management team even do it? That's the second level. You know what I mean? Even if it does exist, they might suck and they might blow it. But it seemed to me that there's been like parties getting involved, and this was even before Cohen. I uploaded those videos where, Bari not as much, but I know Hestia and Permit were chiming in quite a bit. But then they refreshed the board with. I felt they had some visionary type folks on there that kind of could understand how this business model could kick ass much more, an order of magnitude more than I could. That refreshed board really helped me along these lines, Fox, for what that's worth. And then you had the Ryan Cohen edition. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, the past 6 months, I've kind of been like, oh, shit. And then some people have talked to me, too, that have kind of reframed my thinking a little bit, where I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is here. Your point still stands, Fox, but obviously I've been keeping a close eye on this stuff. Doesn't mean it's going to work out, but your point is, I completely agree. Fox had said It depends. It depends on management not investing the cash flow that they generate badly. The last team did it, and it was impairments wazoo. It doesn't mean that this management team won't do it. It's a good point. Okay. Oh, almost caught up. Separate those experiences. We're talking. Yeah, talk about allocations from the console manufacturers themselves. Yeah, Uber saying to all the reports, but for one from Bloomberg that Sony rebutted, indicate that console makers were upping their production estimates. Yeah, so I included that in my video too. I included that in the Nintendo, the GameStop video, right? But I didn't see anything. Okay, not seen much from Microsoft. So Uber, I didn't see anything from Microsoft either because I sure as shit would have included that in my video. I had only seen Sony and Nintendo, so I included those two headlines. And then I saw the announcement, that rumor that Sony was going to cut, and then I was like, shit, I included that in my GameStop video. But then, as you point out, it was like the next day Sony rebutted it. I'm like, all right, good, because I thought it was good news that the production was being ramped up. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit, is it being cut? Is it being cut already? It was like a month after weeks after I uploaded that video, and I was like, okay, good. But I hadn't seen anything from Microsoft either. And a lot of these are rumors too. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know. Yep, okay, and Uber's quoting it. Yep. I think I included that, Uber. I think I did. That Nintendo's up. Uber's posting a link that says Nintendo's boosting production. Okay, check. Notably, GME has switches back in stock. Yep. I think I had seen that. So I may have seen it from you. Now I'm losing track. Can't remember. But that's good news, right? That's great news. Who knows how long they'll be in stock for? You know, they probably won't be for very long, you would think. Okay, I'm caught up. Sick. Oh, how is it's in the Roaring Kitty portfolio. Now that you get me, it's holding up. It's holding up, okay. Yeah, some folks on here were saying that they were really dialed into this industry. Okay, sick. All right, caught up. 8:43. Sick. But then I'll do the caught up dance. You know, I should have like a caught up dance. I should have like so when I do get caught up, I'll give that some thought as to what I should do. Oh shit, you talking to me, Trey? I hope you're not. Oh shit, you asking me, Trey? Because I'm not that dialed into it. If you are talking to me, Trey, and I don't know that you are, I'm not super dialed into this. This was more of a play back here that I thought it was really in favor for a bit right before everything hit, and I thought I'd dabble. But I think other folks on the chat were saying that they knew a bit more about it, but I'm not so sure. I think it's still in there though. Not that big. 5 billion. Someone said it was their least favorite, I thought. Someone said it was someone was like, I said that I was in the Roaring Kitty portfolios. They were like, that's my, I hate that Zog or something like that. I can't remember. I'm like, oh boy, maybe I should get it out of there, you know? Look at all the screens. Oh, new gold bumping back up against 2. Sick. Oh, big move. What gold do today? Oh, I might have been Polygon who said that. Gold's kind of got to break through this shit. Anyway, I don't know if I talk about how I'm not doing like the short-term day trading stuff. I think it's got to break through that. Yeah, it was Polygon. Yeah, thank you, Polygon. It was Polygon. Polygon's like, what are you doing, Roaring Kitty? Oh shit, I'm glad Polygon's here to speak up. Okay, so look at this. This is the daily, but what about the weekly? You want the weekly. You want the weekly on this bad boy. I think. Oh, Uber saying, I'm in a top 20 market, and there were 0 pre-owned switch lights within 30 miles, and there were no pre-owned regular switches at all. Wow. What a tremendous... This is why... Oh, Uber, was you talking about this, right? Yeah, about the new... Like, there's some Nintendo Switch shit coming out in the next couple of weeks, and then they got another round of a Switch upgrades coming 6 months out. I don't think there's enough people talking about the Nintendo side of this, you know what I mean? And that's super relevant for a company like GameStop. No one's even paying attention to it. And it's going to be hugely beneficial, I think, to GameStop's, I don't want to say, I mean, not so much the bottom line. Although now the bottom line is going to be more relevant again because bottom line, with all these write-offs and write-downs and trying to clean up the balance sheet and stuff, they just had so many losses, you know? But now it's maybe everything's written down, so stuff will start flowing through the bottom line. But I think Nintendo profits are going to start flowing through, and no one's really talking about that, right? Yes, and Trey says this too. Trey says Nintendo always trends physical regardless of the console. Oh, good point, Trey. Okay, I'm talking about the Switch, but Trey's talking about Nintendo generally. That's a good, thanks for sharing, Trey, because that's what I see too. I'll stop rocking nerd. Hey, you can keep rocking nerd, and someone's reading Polygon. Someone's paying attention to your SPCE commentary. I felt the same way, Trey, and that was why in the latest GameStop video, I can't remember, where I pointed out that even in the midst of the pandemic, Animal Crossing was still 50%, or 45% physical, which I thought was crazy. Switch is probably the most digital they've gotten. Yeah, okay, and that's huge. Like, that's huge for a company like GameStop because then they'll sell those used games and stuff. If they're skewing physical, it's a huge benefit for a GameStop, and so I know Nintendo's rolling out some new shit here, and it's going to be huge for Switch, but it's still limited. Yeah, people are going to be buying that stuff from GameStop. Other folks, other places too. I get that, but remember, this is why it pays to be a value investor, because I'll say that, right? And other people are like, well, yeah, everyone else has sold that stuff too, right? I'm like, well, not quite. As far as the trade-in stuff goes, GameStop's kind of got kind of dominates that particular market, but then they have. The prices just trade so cheaply. I mean, GameStop trades so cheaply relative to where it will be just if it's a beneficiary from things like this that it doesn't even matter. So maybe it's confirmation bias, but we'll know soon enough. We should know within 6 to 12 months, I'd say, at this point. But those Nintendo gamers, I think, tend to skew casual. I wonder if Trey would agree with that. Like casual gamers, you know what I mean? What else was I looking at? Oh, RC. Oh, yeah, natural gas got about... What was natural gas do? We haven't looked at that. That was one we were looking at quite a bit. I don't know if anyone was here in the early... Oh, that got low. Oh, shit, then it got high. Jeez. We were looking at nat gas in the very early streams when no one was here. Looking interesting for like a multi-year play, huh? Kind of bouncing back. Interesting. Okay. Boy, most stuff was up today, huh? Wait, yeah, but can I just see what was up? Emerging, energy, S&P. What's S&P doing? Bopping around there, huh? Look at oil. 6 months. But it's still kind of bobbling around, you know what I mean? Not much happening. It's just kind of hanging in there. Just all right there. It did hold that though. That was important. Remember we were saying we gotta pay attention to that shit. There's a lot of energy exposure. Wow, natural gas getting up there. 260? What is this? This is volatile. Natural gas prices are volatile. But the producers have been looking interesting. Wow. Kind of lost sight of that for a bit. Interesting. Okay, but most of this is energy. All right. And then what's NASDAQ? Is NASDAQ still looking frothy or anything? Look at that, kind of bouncing all around, huh? Market seems a little bit confused. I mean, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on right now. No doubt about that. And then we saw an IWM. Kind of interested in this. It really needs to break out above that. It's got to. And I've talked about how that could be not a big part of the thesis, very, very marginal, could be a tailwind for a company like GameStop. If small cap and value stocks, but it's something to not bet on, but to understand that it could happen, and it's a huge tailwind to value type stocks. First Solar up 6% today. Yeah, Solar's been doing well. Didn't I just see Solar over here? What's up? What's Solar doing? Jeez. Whoa, okay. Okay. Holy shit. Oh, I missed this? How did we miss this? We definitely looked at this on the stream, didn't we? This looks good. See what I mean? This looks good. Technically, this would never be a heavy position, but jeez. That seems like that would have been a good play. You know what I mean? With EV kind of going bonkers a bit. Kind of in the same domain, no? We say First Solar. Right? Someone was just asking about First Solar. We were just talking about this recently. Is this why? And I'm just too dense. I didn't pick up on it. I don't remember. All right, what the hell else happened today? Now, okay, so natural gas, energy. Fossil up again? Shit. Talk about value stocks. Oh. Polygon saying solar is very politically sensitive towards a Biden win. Interesting. That makes sense. Okay. There. And I know some energy's been kind of trading like that too, right, Polygon? And energy generally, right? But solar, I can see the solar angle, like natural gas or something. Interesting. Okay, that kind of makes sense to me. What the hell? What's going on with fossil? Goober saying green energy is a fantastic play in the long run. Damn, weren't we trying to add more to this? Oh, it's not. I was thinking about it, wasn't I? Is there any insider buying going on in anything? Hasn't been much happen. You know what I mean? Anyone? We don't know. I track insider buying quite a bit, like an excessive amount. and I know Jordan's been on the stream saying he wishes the GameStop management team has bought more. Me too. But I haven't seen any. There's been nothing noteworthy here happening on the insider buying front, except PBF. I noticed PBF. Oh shit! It's already up. It's above 6. Damn. Maybe I should have bought more. Oh, CLR. That was in the. It's still in the. I've been trimming that one all the way down. Wait, what's PBF doing? This is my type of. Wow, I got that right on my tweet, huh? Well, we'll see. It's still early, huh? I added that day too. We'll see. I'll look down in 2 weeks, but I tweeted that day. That was the day I added, and I got it. It became the 3rd position in the portfolio. Let's see what happens. I'd like to. I got to dig a little bit deeper, just make sure that everything's. That it's going to be okay and from a credit standpoint. But that's the type of play that I'd keep adding. Like I'd like it to just not do anything or keep on. I don't want to say I want it to keep going lower, but I kind of like the upside here. Look at that, it bounced right off that. I mean, all of energy, right? This isn't if we looked at any of the refiners here, you're going to see the same shit. Shit. I mean, they all popped. All energy did. What was the other one? HFC. So, it's just... maybe energy was retesting. Remember, we looked at the charts. We looked at all the charts that night, and you were seeing the same thing across the board. And what happens is they'll just bounce all at the same time when it just gets a bit overdone. But you were seeing the retest. And look at this. You saw the retest with Holly Frontier, too. Isn't that interesting? Oh, everything's a test. Everything's a test. I'm not saying that this definitely indicates anything, but I'm paying attention to this stuff. And there you go, bounce. But let's give it some time, huh? But some of these things, I don't really care that it's bounced since I bought. I don't care. But it would be nice if it takes its time. Just well, we'll see what happens with, just to use GameStop as a... because everything comes back to GameStop. But some people get frustrated by this. They'll get involved and they get pissed that it's taken as long as it is. And I think people get tired of the thesis. I think they get sick of it. They're like, oh, whatever. In me, all else equal, you want your thesis to unfold as quickly as possible. You want it. But what happens is, as time passes, the mere passage of time, and you have additional data all throughout. We had way more data in July and August this year than we did back here. Way more data. From as far as the fundamental thesis goes. So like that this is why I was so like, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Back in July and August, this is why I was averaging down. Averaging down. I was just buying more. I was buying more because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I was in July and August. I'm like, this is great because again, I had so much more information. I was quite a bit more confident this time around than I was back here. And so as time passes, it's only with the passage of time, you know what I mean? And with more news that you can gain confidence in a stock over time. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to tie back to PBF. Is like right now I'm a little bit unsure, but as time passes, it gives you more time to dive deeper into the stock. It like you start thinking about it more. And it offers you more time to think about the stuff and do research and collect more information on it. And then it can be a great thing if it takes a while for it to unfold, and then it even gets to a really cheap price again, because then maybe you're more willing to redeploy capital into it, and then it's at those times that you might be able to make quite a bit more money. Like that's a benefit of being a value investor, I think. So I'm not always annoyed. I mean, sometimes I'll joke like, oh shit, it popped on me, but I don't really. Sometimes I like it to drag on. It can be a really good thing. It's yet to be seen if it's really going to be. I mean, yes, it jumped smartly from the lows of July and August. I mean, this was a quick double, right? Very quick. But this was after blah blah blah. So on those incremental purchases, it looks really good. But really, for it to have been worth it, obviously we talked about on the stream, I'd expect it to go. My thesis indicated that it will go higher than this, but we'll see. Even still, I'm just talking out loud now. But as I'm kind of tying it back to PBF, what can happen is it might just be a play, right? It might just be a trade, if you will. It might just be a trade, right? And then that's always the joke, right? When a trade becomes an investment because the price went down and you didn't sell out, and so now you're just bag holding. You know what I mean? Like that's a joke. That's a joke in the industry, but. I mean, I'll just run with that analogy where maybe GameStop was a trade for folks, and I myself was even thinking, like, I knew the new consoles were coming out, and very quickly thereafter we knew there was going to be a disc version. We knew at the same time there was going to be a disc version during the sell-off, and so what happens is it might just be a play, it might just be in a position, but then it evolves and it becomes like a monster position. You know what I mean? Like it can evolve into. It doesn't have to be it right away, and so sometimes you have some of the biggest wins when they either kick your ass at first and they get much cheaper and you average down. Like this probably happened for a lot of folks. For a couple of plays in the Roaring Kitty portfolio, this happened too, where it was looking good. Then the position got rocked. Like that was Camping World. It was a perfect example of that when I was like, I kept on buying, buy. Because the price just kept going down. It turned into a friggin' 10-bagger. You know what I mean? With GameStop, it didn't get crazy cheap. It was more just the damn thesis was taking so long to unfold. It was just taking forever. And I think people were like, yep, this is it. This is the new normal for GameStop. And then people get kind of complacent with the story. That's why you keep seeing the same articles over and over. They're like, oh, that's it. But if anyone ever actually looked underneath and like started reading the stuff, like there were some of us and people on the stream too who we're reading the releases and we're seeing what's unfolding. We're like, the story's only getting better. It's getting more compelling. It's not definitely going to work out, but the thesis here was much more compelling than it was back there. And that's why it's easier. Some people will look at this and just see the price point, but so much happened. There's so much that happened that's not reflected in the price. And I guess that's the edge of being for tracking the fundamentals, right? But we'll see. It's got to go higher. It's got to go. Now, did I lose? I didn't even lose a. Oh, sick. I thought sometimes I start talking. I'm like, oh, now I'm screwed. I just did the catch-up dance, and now I'm screwed. I'm going to look back. All right, good. Oh, shit, I am screwed. Oh, no, I'm not screwed. Okay. I thought I was... Okay. My two criteria for First Solar was lots of cash, little debt in America. I have been... I think I've owned... First Solar before Polygon, but not in a while. So Polygon sharing his thoughts on First Solar, lots of cash, little debt, American manufacturing. All right, that's the type of simple thesis Polygon that I kind of like. I'm not gonna lie. The market cap's kind of big. I don't know how much upside there is for me, but I like that thesis. Polygon's just saying it has lots of cash, it has little debt, American manufacturer. I mean, there's more to a thesis than that, but sometimes those are like I'll often say, if someone tosses out a ticker, if you could give me a couple characteristics that will like kind of like incentivize me to like, because there's so many tickers out there, right? But if you're like, hey, there's a lot of cash on the books. Hey, there's not that much debt. Hey, there's upside. Look where the chart was. Then I can go, oh, that kind of looks interesting. So, but anyway, those are the basic type thing. That's 3, but okay, yeah. Have you looked at RTX at all? No, I haven't. Wait, it sounds familiar though. Oh, Raytheon. Oh yeah. I know Raytheon. These are often too big for me, Polygon. It feels overly beaten down given how many rock solid million. Yeah, this that could be Polygon. This is a massive company, isn't it? Yeah, 90 billion. I don't have much of an edge there, informationally or so no strong opinion on that, Polygon. You could be right. Blessed Spear. Still blows my mind how a stock can have more percent short than float. Should not be legal when the shorts burn from G. I guarantee there'll be a news to zero. Well, we'll see. Yeah, there's that it happened with Overstock. We were talking about that a couple of streams ago, how they did. I don't know if it was a direct result of what was happening with Overstock. I think it influenced their decision to change the rules a bit, but well, let's hold off, Blessed. Let's see if something actually happens. Maybe nothing happens. You know what I mean? It could be. But if it does happen, I'll look back on this with you, Blessed, and be like, damn, how the hell... I mean, I can understand how the percent short can go higher than the float, but it's a very risky, dangerous position, I think. That's what I think, Blessed. But let's see what happens, if anything comes of this. Oh, Uber says he appreciated Ehor responding to mine and Justin on Twitter, seemingly writing that article as a response. Oh, yeah. I agree. That was nice, Uber, huh? That was good that he wrote that. And nice job reaching out to him to, I mean, it was, yeah, GameStop prominently displayed in that article. Makes sense. It's still bizarre if there's a true change in control that forces shares to be. So Uber. So this is what a lot of folks have been talking about to tie back into kind of what Blessed is saying too. Uber's saying it makes sense. It's still bizarre. If there's a true change in control that forces the shares to be recalled, all hell is breaking loose. So if something like that happens, you know, Uber, I have no idea. Yeah, I have no clue. I almost want to see that happen. I know everyone says, oh, a squeeze will definitely happen, but I just want to see what happens. I just want to. It's so unusual, right? I mean, that's what I mean. It's akin, at this point, it's as close to the VW Porsche, Uber, Porsche. It's as close to that story as anyone out there. So, and I have no idea. What. I'm just so curious to see. But if something happens there, then yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's so above me. Like I don't even know how to research what the hell happens. But I feel like it's so easy to be like, oh, it's going to go parabolic. I feel like that's easy to say, but I don't know how likely it is. Uber thinks all hell is breaking loose. Like, I keep on saying if they can be closed in an orderly fashion, but one would think, in the case of a change of control, which is what Uber's saying, could it? That's when it seems least likely to be unwound. I don't know. Yeah, but the rule will only be placed in shorts are going to lose so hard. Yeah, well, that's true. I know if the short, we got to look back on this. I know. I know people saying that I don't know. You just think that the short. Don't you think that shorts are sophisticated and they know what they're doing? Don't you think? I lean that way. But indeed, if it happens, I'll look back on this and be like, damn, they were all right. I should have been thinking. I should have been taking more. Trey, every stock has a story. That's right, Trey. We've been saying that. Every stock has a story. And what happens is, I mean, I've said this a number of times, just to run along with that, I think people don't have the right story, or they didn't do enough research to get the right story, or they did research and for some reason either they drew the wrong conclusion and they have the wrong story. So much of research is trying to uncover the story that's unfolding. You know what I mean? And I think one of the best ways to go about that is by researching everything, but the fundamentals. You know what I mean? Like check out the like all the press releases of the company and any presentations, and then see what the chart is doing. It takes time. My opinion is that it takes time to have a feel for the story. It's very difficult to do. Say, I'm going to research this stock, and then in 24 hours, you know this. I mean, you have a good feel for it. I'll buy a stock in 15 minutes of research, 30 minutes of research. Make no mistake. But those big, gigantic positions that you might make the most on or something, that shit takes time because you need to be damn sure about what that story is, and that you have the right story and blah 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 blah. So I agree with you, Trey. Every stock has a story, and it's very important to do your best to get that story right. It's a stock may have a couple of attributes or characteristics that you like that got you interested, but would you? But if you want to go like a good chunk of your portfolio in it, you got to know that stuff. Trey, I like how investing is just like a choose your own adventure story. You can play it safe, play it risky, whatever you want. Cheers to that, Trey. I agree with that. Yeah, it kind of is. You know what I mean? What's suitable for you as an investor? And I mean, we say here how nothing here is advice, and we're not recommending anything. But to your point, Trey, it's like you need to figure out what works for you as an investor. Not everyone's trying to maximize their annualized rates of return, right? They're like, well, I want to invest this way or that way. Got to play it safe, and you can choose your own adventure. So I agree with you, Trey. I like that. Choose your own adventure story. Polygon GME going parabolic like Overstock would make my year. Yeah, I know. That Overstock chart is something to be seen. Wow. I mean, even forget this. Forget the dip. I mean, it was at 7. You know what I mean? Wow. That's something. George, bold claim from George. George says it's inevitable. I don't know about inevitable, George, but we'll see. Yeah. So Blessed Spirit said, we've been kind of talking about it. Blessed just wants to see what happens. If it happens, it will make headlines and be studied in investing case study. So I'm starting to think like this. Talked about how the stream is educational and like, are we really doing much education if we're not analyzing a whole bunch of stocks right now? But the rationale here at this point is like we're kind of doing a case study on this for better or worse. I mean, you can. I don't know how healthy it is to be focused. And I say this too, right? As much as we talk about GameStop, it's important not to be so laser focused on one stock. You always got to think about your whole portfolio, right? That's very important. As you can see, I mean, GameStop is a overweighted position in the Roaring Kitty portfolio in particular, but there's a ton of positions here. Just as a reminder for folks, you don't only want to be you always need to be paying attention to what's going on around you. And I mean, I have done this too, where I've focused too much maybe on one stock, but I make sure not to now. But I mean, GameStop it's the stock we're all talking about these days, right? And this will go on we'll see how long it goes on for. But what I was going to say was, it's a case study. It's a deep dive case study into what could be a fascinating story, but we need a little bit more information to say that conclusively. But right now, it's definitely shaping up to be something highly unusual for a play. But let's see how it unfolds. I mean, will it go out with a bang, or will it just kind of fade out? That will kind of dictate how big of a case study this is. I mean, or is it just another value stock with no real story here? I know many folks may already think that's the case, but you got to see what happens. We got to see what happens with the price here and how the business unfolds. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of on the same page with y'all. Talk about Zoom. Yep, George, people tend to overanalyze things, but the market is simple. Undervalued stocks will eventually peak up. Yeah, I agree with that, George. Cheers to that. That's why I like to keep the thesis simple. It's like, yeah, what do you like about it? All right, yeah, that's probably out of favor now. It may come back in favor. What's the timeline? Wired just reported a $5 million class action lawsuit against Nintendo. Oh, okay. I'm not too familiar with that story. Polygon, beep, boop, boop, short pop goes brrr. Like that. Facebook social media sites, so what? Any products has some level of... Yeah, so I agree with this, Trey. Says, yeah, but Facebook is just social media. So what? Any product or service has some level of value to an investor. I agree with this, Trey. I think many value investors might not agree with you, but I agree with you. I think value is subjective. I think most people... This is why I always have an issue with how people classically define value. Like, what's a value stock? Low P/B, low P/E. But, like, value is subjective, and that's why, in case in point, it's just looking at charts. You know what I mean? I consider myself a value investor. Maybe others would disagree with that based on how much I look at charts and stuff, but I think I can still see some value in some of this stuff, right? Or in a crazy thesis it's really difficult to value the stock, but you can kind of see it. But I agree with you. I agree with your sentiment there. Is that Blessed Spirit, you have a great... Oh, thank you, Blessed. I don't know if I can say... Thank you, Blessed. I appreciate that. Cheers to that. Cheers. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe that's why, Blessed. I can talk about game... Because I said this in either one of my GameStop videos. I could talk about this shit for weeks. It's just so many different things to talk about. So that certainly helps. That certainly helps with it. I'll tell you that much. Also, this may help. This a little bit. Just a tad. Just a tad. Oh, shit. Yeah, musical felony saying how crazy this shit is. What do you say? 3 to 121. All right, what is that? 40x. On a stock. On a stock. Did they have long dated call options? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you had long dated call options on this shit? Like you bought them. Maybe they had like January 1 year out, and you bought them when it was at like 8. Hey, this chart looked kind of good. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. First of all, I was interested in Overstock. Right around here, I was looking into it. The story was getting cut. No. I was looking at it here, and then I didn't play it, and then I was like, I missed opportunity. I was like, shit, I knew it. It was like kind of looking interesting there, and then it doubled. I'm like, shit, and but it never really paid much mind. But then look at this. Then it was selling off. This is December, but then it started to perk up. So it started to perk up before all this happened. A little bit of a inverse head and shoulders, right? A little bit. And then it got hit by COVID. But this was a great opportunity for a lot of folks, right? Because you might have had a chart that was already starting to turn, and then the COVID went boom, 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 and then everything got hit, and it's like, all right, but some stuff might bounce back, and if it does, you kind of maybe the ones that were already starting to turn. And so it was at 9. It was starting to turn a little bit, but not really. It wasn't like it was huge. It wasn't going gangbusters or anything. Like boom, boom. So there might have been some calls there, huh? And then forget about it. Infinity. What were your gains? Infinity. I mean, what the hell could they do? Wow, I haven't even looked into Overstock. Is this even grounded in reality? Like, is this real? Wow. Hey, that'd be sick. Musical. We'd take that, right? Would you take, GameStop was just at 3. We'd take that. Will we take 3 to 120? 120 market cap? Let's say they bought back. 6.6 billion? Maybe. Oh, what's the market cap on this? I didn't mean to get that one. It's only 3 billion? Wow, it was priced in the gutter. Oh, what was the market cap at the lows? What'd you say? 3 musical felony? Whoa. Oh, 130 market cap. Sick. Oh, it's a missed opportunity for me, right? There it is, yeah. These aren't in order or anything. Oh, I figured out how I zoomed them in there. Oh. I mean, who would have hold? That's the thing. These are tough to hold. I mean, so who was just? I don't know who. These are tough to hold. Would you hold to 120? You know what I mean? That's this is why it can be beneficial to average out. Just general advice, and it can be good to average in to average out of a position. It's unlikely you would hold your whole damn position this whole time. That's why it makes this really impressive. Whoa. Ryan M. Giddy, have you consulted the Uno cards on GME? Hey Ryan, not tonight we haven't. Not tonight. Nope. What can we do? We gotta, don't we still gotta go back to the 8 ball because it didn't ask the, it said like come back later or something. So what we could do is with these Uno cards, you just flip one. You just flip one, right? And you just say, pick one out. You just say how many dollars per share is going to be added to the stock price over the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Oh, it's green, but it's a 3. It's green, but in my green screen. It's battling my green screen. All right, 3. So what would that be? $12? We'd take $12 in the next 2 weeks. We'll take that. And then if we flip from one of the extra decks, boom. Then you get the +4. Then it's 16 overnight. Look at that. See, it only took 2 cards. Look at that shit, huh? Sick. Thank you, Ryan M, for the reminder, huh? Damn. What else I got? I definitely feel like I have other stuff, but just not with me right now. You gotta keep these close though, because you never know. If you want more information about how I utilize these, it's serious business. Check out the other there's that one video. There's that one video on the channel that I uploaded. Oh shit, that's funny. Thank you, Ryan. Some levity, you know? Is that the word? We should do it, but it should be like a recurring thing. You know what I mean? Just check it each week. Just see what they're recommending this week, just to round out our thinking on a week. There you go. See you next Tuesday. It says value is definitely subjective. In the NFL draft, they call it intangibles. Yeah, you know where else they call it that is Moneyball. They say the same thing, that it's and then the whole movie is based on that, right? That the scouts are like seeing, they got I think it's I like the soundtrack. It's a good soundtrack. One of the songs is not songs or whatever it is. It says some time tested intangibles or tangible, something like that. But it's similar to that. We're like, oh yeah, those are just intangibles, and then the whole movie like kind of picking that apart. But I agree with that's a good point. CU that and then it's like passing the eye test too. You know, that kind of stuff matters too. Okay, but yeah, you agree it's subjective. Okay, Uber. What's your free cash flow forecast for GME in 2021? Ooh, good question, Uber. Oh, I'm gonna have to put down some numbers. Is Fox here? He's not here, right? Good. Okay. Musical felony, solid DD on the Uno cards. Yeah, that's what I'm really getting into it. When I'm really trying to dive deep, musical. That's what I'm doing. Uno cards. And I get the bananagrams too. So if we have to break into that in some day. Uber. Good question. I very rarely have precise forecasts. I'm almost always on the range. I'm like a range type person. And for my thesis, I kind of just needed I wanted a minimum of like 200 million in free cash. Well, you're talking about 2021. Oh shit. Oh, all 2021? Like I think even still, I'd say anywhere in the 200 to 600 million range. Is that too broad? Oh, you said range. Oh, Uber, you said range. You read my mind. I didn't even see you saw range there. Like 200. Like I think 200's really low. I mean, I think 200's low, but I was trying to protect my downside at a $300 million market cap, and I'm like, they're definitely gonna make They can make 200 million in free cash flow, can't they? And I saw some people who didn't think that, but then I'm like, oh, I could see them get up there quite a bit. But maybe it's like upwards of like 400 million. 500, 600 starts to get a little bit tight. It starts to get tight looking out for the full year and stuff. But I don't know. What do you think, Uber? I'm curious about your take. But that's what I would say, which is gigantic compared to the current market cap. That's 500, 600. I would say like maybe in the like 300 range might be the, I don't know, like 200 to 400 I was kind of thinking. I'd be curious about your take, Uber. Let's see what they did back in the day too. I want to say it was like, remember they had over, what did I say? They had over $1 billion in the first 3 years. I thought the first 12 months might be big. I think they tend to skew more physical too. And so in the first 3 months of last cycle, first 3 years, simple free cash flow just accrued here's the definition of simple free cash flow. Boom, boom, boom. It's just operating cash flow less CapEx. Okay, so they were generating about, what did I say? Is that right? 2013? Yeah, that's close enough. So they would generate about 500 million. They averaged 500 million per year over the first 3 years. And I remember thinking, I don't know if they could keep that up this cycle. But then I was like, oh, but they could maybe average 200 million looking over 3 years. You know what I mean? Maybe they could average 300 million, maybe 200 million, maybe 100. I'm like, they could definitely average 100 million, right? Because of the cost cutting efforts. I mean, and some of their commentary, right? Management's commentary, and so I was trying to piece together, I didn't think that it was necessarily going to mirror this, right? Because of the secular headwinds that they're battling. But I'm like, but even if they average 200 or 300, then I'm like, that first year could be a huge year, right? Because then they have all these they have all the cost-cutting measures that they've done for 15 months and that no one has cared. No one's really cared about in the market. Look at the stock price. No one gave a shit. And I'm like, they could be setting themselves up for like windfall profits that like it's conceivable to me that in that first year they could get upwards of 500 million and they could almost get up there because of what they're doing. Like I say, when you get to 506 million, then that's really high. That's much higher than they were doing back in the day. But now you have a management team who cares. I can't stress that enough. When you have a management team who cares and they're really trying. And so I didn't think that was likely, but I'm like, 200, 300, 400 maybe. And then if they did like pull off something crazy with some like being the go-to place in those first 12 months with the accessories and everything, if they pulled it off, I'm like, all right, maybe 5-6, but that not far from the base case. So I mean, they like 400 million with those in those first 12 months. And then oh, well, you said 2021, so that doesn't even include the first quarter, though, does it, Uber? But then I was like, what are they going to average over the 3 years? You know what I mean? I was like, could they average 200? And I'm thinking, I was thinking maybe they could average 200 million in free cash flow for those first couple of years. So that gave me some downside. I'm like, it could even have, they could even burn cash year 3. But if that first year was good enough, maybe they could cover them. So I was just trying to protect my downside. You know what I mean? I was just trying to make sure that they could. The market cap was 300 million or something. I was like, they just got to make sure that they can maintain this in addition to what they currently have on the books. And so, I mean, that's kind of the gist of the free cash flow forecast like that. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't. If anyone has more complex numbers that they'd like to share, feel free. I've seen some people who didn't even think that GameStop would get a boost, a year-over-year boost from the console. It's like, well, how do you think they're not going to get a boost on that front? I found that really, really bearish, but I accepted that. Uber saying the street is so pessimistic. 5.8 billion in revenues. See what I mean? So Uber's saying the street's forecasting 5.8 billion in revenues. They had 5.6 in the 12 months ending August 2020. How could they only do 5.8? I mean, maybe. That seems low to me though. 5.8, maybe though. But I've priced that in. In one of the first GameStop videos, I used 5 billion. I said let's just say they only get to 5 billion in revenues. You know what I mean? But even still, like that first year, you can only get to 5. That's interesting. I would think that they would beat that. It's not. What's it? 92 million in EBITDA. Wow. I mean that's lower than I said. I was thinking 200 million in free cash flow was. You can't get to 200 million in free. Oh, for 2021. So Uber, is that missing Q4? You can't get to 200 million? What? It's like they're not factoring in the cost-cutting efforts that they've done. I like my conservative estimates to be conservative. I would be disappointed in my analysis if it turned out that they couldn't get to 200 million in free cash flow. I was thinking in the first 12 months of the console cycle, to be clear. I mean, Uber's asked me about 2021, but I'm like, they got to get to 200 million in free cash flow. Yeah, of EBITDA. Okay. Uber, yeah. Okay. Ooh, so Uber's thinking closer to 6.5 to 7 billion. And is it like they had 7.8 billion? One thing we lost on the revenues, Uber, just and you, I mean, you seem like you're pricing this. They lost the AT&T stores, right? So that's revenue gone. In the store closures, we're not going to get 100% from the store closures, perhaps, but you know what I mean. Like the store closures, I think that they got a good chunk. Well, I mean, I think that they'll still get a good chunk of. I don't think they'll lose much sales from the store closures, right? Because they had so many stores that they'll just move from one store to another or move online and that stuff. So I think some of that stuff might net out, but you lose the AT&T stuff. So as you say, 6.7 billion. Yeah. I feel like if we assume that, the 40% transfer rate Uber, I thought was with when the stores, that was with the stores closed. That wasn't, was that between stores? Was that store? Or that wasn't that, I know what you're talking about, Uber. Oh, yeah, it is only 40% of closed stores volume. Oh, that's not as high as I thought. Yeah, that's closed stores value, transfer rate. Well in excess of profit. Oh, okay. Well, interesting. Yeah, okay. I was thinking that was factoring into some of the, where the stores were temporarily closed and they moved online. Did I miss some comments here? Sorry. Blessed. I'm actually thinking it's possible they have negative EBIT if they play the growth e-com transition narrative. Yeah, if they go ham, blessed. If they go all in on that, they'll start burning cash. You know what I mean? Well, but that will be growth. That would be growth. Growth capex. That's the thing. So that might not be reflected in EBIT. You know what I mean? Those would be capital expenditures, I think. Well, they could partially be in there. It depends. It depends what the breakdown is. But I understand what you mean, Blessed. Like if they start going at it, you'd expect them to start burning cash. You know what I mean? 40%, huh? All right. And so you're saying 6.57 billion? Yeah, and I think we're gonna know soon enough. That's what my figures right there. Yeah, I'm surprised Uber that they I feel like they're not. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking that am I overestimating how good of a job that they're doing? I'm not sure that I am, but like I said, I've been keeping close tabs on them to just remember they got gross margin to increase even in some shitty quarters. They got gross margin to increase. I definitely spent some time on that in the video too. Uber's doing EBIT earnings for interest tax. I definitely can see that, Uber. You're talking EBITDA. Yeah, I was thinking I'm thinking free cash flow just to get us on the same page. Which, of course, CapEx has been so low. It's like, you know what I mean? CapEx has been so low historically that it's not that nuts. 450. What do we got for EBITDA? Okay, so just to use this. So I was looking at free cash flow, but to use Uber's EBITDA, I'll just use 2014 just because. So there you go, Uber. So Uber is saying 405 million. We're in the same ballpark of RS. I mean, I was using free cash flow. You're using EBITDA, and I'm looking at an average of about 800 back in the day, and you're getting it to 400 to 500. You know what I mean? Like I see that. I can totally see that based on their efforts that they've put in. Sometimes it just takes a management team who cares and who is actually trying, because it's really difficult to do that and to take shit for 12 months like this management team has. And I think that they've done it. And I think we're going to see it soon. And so that's EBITDA back in the day. Oh, Uber, I'd agree with that estimate. And then 6.57 billion. Okay. And I wonder how much. I mean, I've been talking. Uber's talking EBITDA. I've been talking free cash flow, but earnings. They may have legit earnings for the first time. For the first time, I mean, if they can just get to, well, let's just say they can get to the 200 in free cash flow, and let's say that's a good proxy for earnings. It's only 65 million outstanding. That's $3 per share. That's $3 per share. But that's the thing. I do think that first year needs to be a good first year, because you know what I mean? Like that's like Fox was asking me what it would take for me to change my opinion. That first year has got to be a good first year, because if that underperforms, if that first year is rough, I'm like, oh, you really got to get that first. That's when there's substantial demand, and I mean they're still refining things, so it may take another year before they've closed all the stores that they want to close, and they've really refined some of their management improvement initiatives. That could take some time, and then of course to reinvent themselves, but that's down the line. But yeah, I could see this. I really like that gross profit. Oh, I got this working. Boom! See that gross profit? Oh, you can't even really see that, can you? You can't see that, maybe. Gross margin was increasing. Wedbush is a 6.6 billion. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Wedbush has been really. Although their price target wasn't as I thought they were I thought they'd been bullish on GameStop for a while, but yeah, no management until they prove it. Right. Wedbush at 6.6 billion, 200 million. Yeah, 200 million EBITDA. What? Maybe I thought my 200 million in free cash flow was on the conservative side, and they're saying 200 million in EBITDA. One good thing about using simple free cash flow, they're not messed up. Like at least in the metrics that I have, they're not messed up by EBITDA the past couple of years. So simple free cash flow, rolling 12 months, they've averaged over the past three They've averaged 200 million. This is the tail end of the console cycle. Yes, I know they've been doing some of these things average out though over time. You know what I mean? They've been there's been some working capital changes and so forth, but they've averaged just under just a very basic rolling 12-month figure. Operating cash flow less capex. They've averaged 200 million over the past 3 years. Like, geez, I didn't even look at the updated data. Look at that. You tell me they can't get to 200. They can't average 200 million over the next 3 years. Like, no way. What's book value? Now I go through it. The price is starting to look cheap again. What the hell is book value? Is it 400 million? Where the hell is it? Jeez. Oh, it was 350 million now. Yep. Continued losses. They might have more losses this quarter too, right? What's the market cap? 600? 600? Jeez, it still looks cheap. You know what I mean? Doesn't it still look cheap? It's not as cheap. I don't understand. 616. And this is the balance sheet. Even though the balance sheet, the book value has been declining, the quality of the assets, you might argue, have been increasing. You know what I mean? So it's like a more reliable estimate of in theory, what you could get out of the, I don't want to say liquidation analysis, but 350. Yeah, I still think it looks cheap. But there's such a wide variability in these estimates and these forecasts and stuff. You know what I mean? Even mine are. I appreciate you saying yours, Ubers. Michael Proctor of Wedbush was quoted in that CNN story. I did see that. That's what I mean. I see Wedbush all over the place when I see those things. And that's what I mean. They've been generally bullish, but that 200 million EBITDA seems low though. GameStop survived the pandemic, and the stores that will benefit from the new console launches. There will be a reason for consumers to return to the store. I've definitely said I've generally agreed with a lot of their analysis over the. I think they've been bulls. That's why. But that's their analyst updates. Didn't they update? Excuse me, analysts. Their forecast weren't as bullish as they thought. People who want to trade in games, so they kind of get it. You know what I mean? People who want to trade in games will buy the more expensive PS5 and continue to buy discs. So long as there is a version with the disc drive, there'll be discs. And yeah, Wedbush has kind of been trumpeting this. They were also the one I included. They had an article I included in one of my GameStop videos, those early ones of them talking about. They were on the right side of this. I mean, if GameStop, if the thesis works out, they were on the right side of this early last year. There was like an article by them in like May or June. They were just like, this is stupid. This is gonna work. I remember reading that they were like very confident about it back in the day. Do I still have it? What was it like? It was like in a oh shit, I can't remember where it was. I don't think it was Business Insider. I included it in one of my videos. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I followed their analysis. Return to the stores is a big part of it. They definitely get better attachment rates. I'll be asking investor relations how e-commerce attach is comparing to in-store. Oh, that's a good question, Uber. Because they say they have some of the best attach rates. But yeah, how do they do it on e-commerce? That's a good point. Hey, I wonder if they'll answer your questions in real time, Uber. Like you may ask them good questions. What if Eric doesn't know the answers to them? You know. I wonder if they would have that answer right off the cuff. Attachment rates. I'll be asking. E-commerce attaches. Yeah, that's a good question though. Margins, right? Those bundles. They bundle and shit together. They probably won't have much insight on the app or anything like that. But e-commerce stuff is big. Have they seen the trend continue? Have they seen the growth persist? You'd think so. Like into the current quarter. I'm not sure they're going to have much clarity on any of these things. Manchild, what's up, Manchild? Cheers, cheers, cheers. Man, some of the I'd be curious about whether or not what percentage of their stores still generate positive EBITDA, that type of stuff. But they ain't gonna have much update. Power Up Rewards members, the data. A lot of people have been picking up on the data. Oh, and they got that in the CNN article, right? Didn't they get that? Oh yeah, unexpected gold mine right there. I don't know what question I would ask. Like some of these. I wouldn't be a good analyst on these. like some of the questions Uber, I would have a tough time coming up with the questions as you're gonna ask them, because my questions are I'd be like, what the hell are you gonna do with the cash on your books? You know what I mean? I know they're gonna use it to repurchase inventory and all that, but from a capital allocation standpoint, what are you gonna do exactly? And how are you thinking you're gonna reinvent yourselves? You know? Yeah, I agree. Some of those questions, percent versus positive EBITDA, will be kind of useless amid COVID-19. Yeah, I agree. Not to mention that everything's we're on the cusp of the new console cycle too. Where it's a lot of this stuff. I want to know if some of this stuff persists into the next console cycle. If e-commerce baskets are growing and they're using data to drive those, that's important. It's Uber. It's tough to come up with questions. It's tough to I'd have a tough time coming up with questions that would actually impact my thesis. You know what I mean? That's why it makes it challenging for me to even think that they could supply information that they were allowed to share with us. More games sold, market leader. And you know what else I'd be checking is my questions would probably revolve around this. Oh, that's not it. Around this Uber. This is the press release. Where they started documenting a whole bunch of new initiatives that they're doing. But I don't know how much more information they can supply. I'm kind of curious about the GameStop credit card, how they might leverage this, rent to own. This is kind of interesting. I have some questions about this. But I don't know what to do with them. Progressive leasing. The buy now, pay later. But how much is there to actually? I'll be very curious about what your takeaway is from the questions you ask Uber, especially if it impacts your thesis. You know. My biggest question is, but I know they don't know the answer to it, is how they're. I mean, in the wake of the pandemic and all those social stores that they were testing, what now? You know what I mean? Some of the that Dallas Cowboys center is closed. What do you do thereafter? What's the plan? And I know they got to pump the brakes, understandably so. But if we're talking about reinventing yourself, what does it look like? And there's that article too, if you haven't seen it. Shit. This article by Scott Preston. My questions would be around this. Scott lists a whole bunch of possible avenues that GameStop could go down. And I'd be and again, I don't think they can divulge any of this, or that they would. Where would they, new management team, blah, blah, blah. Vendor partnerships. What might this look like? Something more robust than what they've disclosed so far. This is just Scott brainstorming. He's just thinking through some possible avenues. If you haven't seen this article, I recommend, if If you're interested in the GameStop thesis, definitely this was from February of this year. This was a great article on GameStop, kind of laying out the different paths for GameStop from an operational standpoint, but he approaches it from a security analysis. I trumpeted this in one of my later GameStop videos on the channel, and so a lot of the usual things, but don't trade investment, but like try before you buy, game programming, Dungeons and Dragons, esports, pro gamers. Isn't there other stuff? I thought there was a couple other things too. Also like an online. What does he call it? I like this one. I'm like, what the hell? It was like an online. It's kind of spread. Sorry, I'm sorry for scrolling so much. Oh yeah. I like this one. Another possibility that is working with the publishers and console manufacturers to become the trading house for used digital games. GME could be in position to create a neutral platform like a clearinghouse and charge a nominal fee to facilitate transactions. The publishers would keep the profit and create residual value for their digital games. Everybody would win. Like, that's something like, I can't even think about that. It's like over my head. But I'm like, what the hell? They sell used games digitally? You know what I mean? Seems like there could. I like that. Man, child. Oh, yeah, I see some comments. Blessed. Oh, yeah, I've been investing for a while. So what you see is like after a long time of testing different things, and as I say in one of my videos, getting my ass kicked by it. But what in my pursuits here, I'm trying to achieve high rates of return. So my style might not be suitable for you if you're a hobbyist, blessed. But that's check out the other videos on my channel where I talk about my investment style and stuff. Definitely you can see a little bit more about my thinking, what I'm trying to achieve with my investments. Mentioned, I've been a little concerned with their website, app, and web app. The sites are not optimized well, and they might be underestimating how important a responsive, user-friendly experience is. Thanks for sharing, Manchild. I hope that stuff goes smoothly. You know what I mean? Share your feedback with them. I mean, that's their lead engineer doesn't have prior experience before GameStop. Jeez. I'm sad to hear that. Thanks for sharing, Manchild. I've heard some people say they like it. We demoed it here on the stream last week. Some people, I've heard similar feedback from some people. They didn't think it was as responsive enough, and there were definitely some things I called out to. I'd like it to be a little bit different. One thing with this Manchild that I point out is that these things are iterative. So it's okay that you always want that first one to be sick and dope, but you would think that reasonable people would share their opinions on the app with the team, and that they would make the changes accordingly. So it's okay that the first one's not perfect. In fact, I think we talked about that in the stream. But I don't think it's. I'm a little concerned with the website. Yeah, the sites are not. I would certainly hope someone would call them out because I agree with you. It's very important to have a responsive, user-friendly experience. I agree with you, Manchild. And I think, not to go down the Ryan Cohen path too much, but with someone like him, we don't even know what his involvement is, but he understands the importance of something like that, So I think I would have liked them to get it right. So if these are issues, these are legitimate issues that you're pointing out, let's hope that they can fix them in time. In the coming weeks, there may even be another update. I haven't checked, but let's see what happens. I'd be curious about your ongoing takes, Manchild, especially if they change. So you like this, Manchild? Do you like the residual value? I like this too, right? It's kind of weird. Is it? Could this be a thing? Yeah, and then Mike says, what about Burry's unlocking high margin revenue stream? So I agree. Yeah, I agree, Mike. What about that? I've been wanting more information on that too. I've seen it elsewhere too. Those high margin partners. It may even be here. So he lays Scott lays out a couple here. So check this. There's more. Where are they? I'm sorry for scrolling so much. One example he gives that I liked. Where the hell is it? Vendor partnerships. This is it. So I really like this one. And I thought this was one of them. Maybe this is why Scott listed it first. Another monstrous opportunity for GME. If GME starts to show tangible evidence that it is driving a more engaged customers to its in-store for new experiences, game publishers and console manufacturers will want to participate. So now we haven't heard anything on this front. The partnerships we've heard so far have been like this, like is it an Xbox All Access one? So they'll sell some digital stuff in store, and maybe get a kickback thereafter. You know what I mean? Like that's one variation of it. But could there be more here where they team up with like an Activision or an EA to showcase their games? Like, hey, get a sneak peek at the games, to test out some of the things here. It's because the companies want you to. Like it's an in-store experience. You know what I mean? And he points out how the big publishers spend up to $300 million a year in marketing new blockbuster games. So definitely check out this article. You can Google, there's the title right there. Check that out. But he's got a whole bunch of cool ideas like this. But yeah, I kind of like that one too. But so Mike, I too, they've been talking about Barry was talking about the unlocking high margin revenue streams in one of his first letters, and I'm like, what the hell are those? What are those? I wanted more information, and I haven't been able to find much about it. And then we kind of got some of this Xbox stuff here. I get this, but like since Scott wrote this, I've been kind of thinking about some of these things, but maybe we don't get those. I don't know. So anyway, that would be some of my questions would be derived from here, Uber, for what little that's worth. Manchild, their mobile site has Google Ads. Oh, well, I bet you don't like that, Manchild, yeah? If you have Ryan Cohen's team coming in, you don't need to post job listings. Well, I don't know about if his team's coming in. He seems like he's interested. Yeah, they can transition into digital game distribution. Yeah, so Manchild can see the setup here. Okay. Good. I don't know, because I don't know enough about that. Blessed woodwork there. Oh boy. Uber, good luck with that. He's going to ask how much commentary investor relations has been hearing about the RC Venture stake. See what I can tease out. Yeah, that's obviously, I mean, I should have mentioned that one. I'm very curious about that as well. That's what I think. Like, it's a balancing act. I mean, you try, and if they shoot it down, it is what it is. No big deal. No harm in asking a question, right? They shoot it down, it's fine. But I'm like, they're just gonna. If they even know anything, right? As I know you know, Uber, they might not even know shit. They might not even know anything. Who knows? But even if they did, it's something like, well, they're like, we can't talk about that. But I can understand. I mean, it's no harm in asking a question, that's for sure. But that's probably one of the biggest ones right now, right? Just to understand the involvement, I guess. But less so, though, for the long-term thesis. It may be a little bit less meaningful, I suppose. Is it? To know at least the type of relate? I don't know. So Sherman said they are getting CapEx reimbursements from their vendors. What does that mean exactly? Oh, yeah. That was kind of interesting, huh? Yeah, store merchandising refresh project. So, just what's your question? It just means they're it's just some holiday related stuff that they're willing to put up the capital to do on, I suppose, on behalf or for their vendors to facilitate sales, and the vendors have said, you do this and we'll just pay you back for it. I don't know what it is. Holiday store merchandising refresh project. I mean, it's pretty vague, but you know, a lot of vendors are going to be selling shit, so they're probably just like, hey, I mean, maybe like a new store layout or something to more prominently display certain vendors' shit. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but that's how I interpret. And then the vendors say, we'll pay you back for that. I mean, I think that happens with some of these retailers, right? Where they say, if you do this or do that, we'll pay you for your efforts, I think. So Sherman said, Uber, I work closely with IR at a 4500 cover. I know there's color they can add, and there's okay, so Uber, all right, you sound well suited to be in this position, maybe even better suited than I am to ask these questions. That's great. All right, good luck. We say Wednesday. I think he said Wednesday. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, so you're like, yeah, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, and there's no harm in that. That's it. You get it, dude. That's great. Blessed. I'm just so impressed we could talk for this long about GME. I thought I had already read everything and asked questions sorely wrong. Cheers to that, Blessed. I think we're all in agreement on that one. It's surprising even ourselves how long we can talk about this, huh? And again, I can't stress this enough. We're talking about it too much, but we're having some fun with it. You know what I mean? If you're really trying to build out I say the channel's education, right? If you're really trying to build out an investment process, and that's, if you ever have questions too, anyone who's watching, if you have questions about an investment process stuff, please feel free to chime in and ask it. It's the channel. Well, I've been titling everything, so it is kind of, we are focused on GameStop, but it's general education stuff too. So if you ever have questions about process, because it's the process that's so important. And this is why, if you haven't seen the other, if you are curious about my process or even how to, some tips for refining your own process, check out the other investment style videos on my channel, because I talk about that stuff. But even still, if you join the stream here in the chat, you still have questions, toss them in there. I'm happy to ask them. In fact, I just saw Eduardo join back, talk about, Eduardo was asking a question like, the other stream, which I was thinking about, like, he's like, what would be your max exposure, or what would be your, like, the largest position you might have in a stock, whatever, what's the proper, I forget what you asked, Eduardo, but I was thinking about, because I didn't give you a very good answer. But in general, Eduardo, maybe I did say this, I can't remember, but like it can be good to be fairly diversified, especially in the early years of getting started and when you're going down this investment path, right? Because you don't want any mess up to cost you, to be like, that's the end of your endeavor, right? You want it, it's very important for your process to persist and so that you can iterate over time. So you don't want any overexposure that will cost you that opportunity. You know what I mean? So diversification can help in that light. And but then over time, as you hone your skills, as you get better, as you develop an expertise, it may be okay to put a little bit more into a position. But even still, you don't want to put so much that if it works against you, you're screwed. You know what I mean? So I know I didn't give you a Georgia. Where were these figures? So like if you just take out GameStop, most of these are fairly diversified. You know what I mean? And so just something to bear in mind. But as I delay overweighted positions until you gather more experience. You know what I mean? Until you have confidence and you've kind of but you can be the judge of that. But all I would say is be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And I've tried to be honest with myself over the years. Try to be objective. Am I really 90% sure in this thesis? Am I really 80% sure that this is going to work out? Is it okay that it can just sit for 2 years and do nothing? Am I okay with that? Am I okay if I lose it? Blah, blah, blah. But as it just takes time, and then you'll be more comfortable, and maybe you can put a little bit more into it. But in general, it's probably not a good idea to put it all in red or something like that, unless you have really, really high conviction and you are justified in that conviction. That's the thing. I fear some people. I talk about the importance of the story, right, as it pertains to the stock. Sorry, but also. Like, know the trade, know why you're in the trade, understand the trade. Like, is it just a quick 6-month play, 1-year play, or is it a long-term play? Is it a multi-year play? Blah, 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 blah. But you got to keep it real with yourself. Don't fool yourself on this, because you'll regret it over time. It's so much better for your education to keep it real, for real. And but anyway, so just generally that takes time to develop that level of conviction that you have in your own analysis. You need lots and lots of failures underneath your belt, lots of failures. And then I don't know how many, but when you have lots of failures, it's only then you'd be like, all right, now I can feel fairly confident in this or that. And then you read as much as you can just about general investment knowledge. But then when it comes to your particular stock, you're reading everything out there. So it comes down to confidence. But diversification generally can be a good thing. It depends on what you're trying to get out of investing, because it depends on what your goal is. If you're trying to maximize returns, diversification might not be a good idea, but that's not a recommendation for you, right, Eduardo? You know that. That's just depends on what your style is. And it could be many folks who are watching the stream, they should be diversifying heavily. You know what I mean? My style is very aggressive, and I think it's unsuitable for many folks. But anyway, so I bring this up because Eduardo has asked an excellent question that didn't really, it kind of pertained to GameStop, because the GameStop in the Row and Kitty portfolio anyway was a good chunk of it. But so anyway, if there's any questions like that, feel free to toss them out there. I don't even know why I went on that spiel right there. Oh, because Blessed was talking about how long we can talk about GameStop. Oh, so yeah. So on these, we do other research. Blessed, you may know that by now, but like GameStop's just dominating the conversation because a lot of us are interested in that right now, myself included. It's an overweighted position for me, but I can talk about that shit for weeks. I think other folks can too. We have lots of strong opinions about this. It sounds like people are passionate on both sides, like the Bears and the Bulls, although this chat's comprised mostly of the Bulls. So we got to be careful of echo chamber type shit, right? We got to be careful of confirmation bias. But there's so many, it's a fascinating story, right? There's so many like nooks and crannies to the story. And And there's like, so thanks for sharing that, Blessed. I even myself, I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about that, or I didn't think about this, or think about that. And but that's why, like, these types of things, just open dialogue about stuff. Again, we're talking mostly about GameStop, but just about any topic, open dialogue where you can go boom, 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 get quick feedback, quick reactions from everybody. I feel like that's kind of been missing in the industry. So let's see if we can change that, huh? Manchild, can't major publishers pay GME then to market their stuff also? Oh, yes, absolutely they can. Yeah. Can't major publishers pay GME to market their stuff? Yeah, so I think that's part of what this was. It's just a variation of them paying GameStop to a degree, I think. But that's what, yeah, they'll pay a retailer a certain amount or give them a cut on maybe inventory that they've purchased to market their shit to the GME is life. GME is Roth. How old is early? Did I say? What did I say? Get started early? I don't remember what I said. It's more about length of time. It's not so much about early. I wasn't doing too much. Like, I know some folks. You see some stories of some folks who were like doing investing in their like teens and stuff. And I'm like, I was just doing any of that stuff. So I don't know. You diversify early. Oh, thank you, Blessed. So when I say early, I mean earlier in your investment career. So it's not so much about age. It's more about your experience level. How far along are you? In your journey to wherever the hell you want to go? Like, Blessed, I know you said you were more in this for hobbyist type thing, which I'd be understand why you were in it, right? If it's like, it can be like, it's like outperformance requires a lot of time and effort to be put into it. You know what I mean? And then even years upon that. So when I say like diversify early, I mean like if you're in your early years, just getting started, trying to learn as much as you can about investing, trying to trial and error different things here and there. I would remain diversified in those early years. It could take it's going to vary. It's so subjective. It's going to vary from person to person. How dialed in you are. Are you really reading every possible book that's out there? Are you really aggressive with your education? That's not to say that you should be. I'm not saying that there's other things besides investing, of course, other things in life. But like, how gung-ho are you about it? Because if so, then maybe it's only 5 years where you start to really gain confidence about stuff because you're doing everything. It could be 10 years, and that's cool too. That's something you got to be honest with yourself about. There's no simple rule of like, 5 years in, then you can start going heavy into shit. Or even 10 years in. It just depends. And so, but this is like joining a chat like this, Blessed, is good because then you can kind of see how other folks are kind of thinking about this and kind of be like, oh wow, I had my opinions about a stock here or there. I would describe myself as an intense hobbyist. Okay, no, that's cool. Yeah, and it can still be. It can still be a pursuit or a legitimate pursuit. You know what I mean? So you're intense. Perfect. That can be a real helpful skill to have in this industry, I'd say, especially if you're especially in the case of education, right? If you're intense about trying to learn shit, then you might be able to do it quickly to a degree. A lot of the stuff comes from experience, right? You can't rush experience. You know what I mean? To fail as a long-term investor or even a medium to long-term investor, that shit takes time. That shit takes years. You know what I mean? If you're a day trader, then you can get feedback very quickly. That helps you learn very quickly, except I don't know how much upside there is. That's my personal take. I don't know how much upside there is, but education is about those quick feedback, right? Do something, feedback, do something, feedback, do something, feedback. And that can really help someone learn very quickly. But when you have a longer term horizon, it kind of, and this is why I suspect this is why at least some people don't feel like doing it, is because who wants to, just to get started, you need to commit 5 years. You know what I mean? To see stuff through and to read everything, to even have a conviction in your style. So when I think about it like that, it makes even more sense why people are like, shit, yeah, okay. Because just to get started, but so yeah, but it would take years. So in general, I'd recommend diversification, but then you just got to be real with it. At some point, you just you reach a level where you might be like, F it, I at least need to, you never want to go so that if you lose it, you're screwed, because then you're screwed. And then it could take another 5 or 10 years to rebuild the capital that it took you to get there, blah, blah, blah. But even still, it might have been a learning experience. So you never want to be out so that you're not able to continue educating yourself. You know what I mean? Now, I feel like I'm kind of rambling there, but hopefully y'all know what I mean. But that's why I can't give Eduardo asked an excellent question. I can't give him like a good answer. I'd like it to be. So much of the world is not this way. It's not black and white. It's not there's no cookie cutter answers to this. And I'd say just generally, diversify. But then when the time comes, and it's not just about your level of conviction too, but what's the opportunity? You know what I mean? When GameStop was trading at $260 million market cap, or one time wasn't it trading at like 200? Wait. Yeah. What was it trading below 2? It was, wasn't it? No, below 3. What did I get? Yeah, I said 250. Yeah, it was 162 million market cap. So the sizing a position is a huge part of portfolio management, and it's a function of many different variables. One of which is your level of conviction, your confidence in the play, blah blah blah. But the other is, some of these are blended together. There's a lot of overlap between them. But the upside. What's the upside versus the downside? What's the asymmetry here? So in the case of GameStop, just a quick example, quick case study, is that GameStop, I felt at the time there was very minimal downside, permanent capital loss. I felt there was minimal downside, and even though I didn't know what the upside was, and we're not even there, it's only doubled from that. That's what I mean. If it's still only at $9 6 months from now or 12 months from now, I think I messed up. But at the time, I'm thinking like the downside is minimal, and the upside could be solid. It could also be gigantic, and I didn't know then. I still don't know now what it's going to be. But so there was a unique opportunity here where my downside, and then is minimal. The upside could be significant, and then I've researched it so much, and I kept on digging deeper and digging deeper. And that's why I'm talking about this chart, the importance of this chart. People see this and they think, oh, it's a dog. It hasn't done shit. And the whole time I'm just reading, learning more about it, and then at times deploying more into the position. So the opportunity persisted for much longer than when I first got involved. This position has evolved over time, and but it's given me an opportunity to read more about it, to see the facts unfold, to develop a higher level of conviction, and just to have the opportunity to deploy more capital. And so that has given me the opportunity here to go a bit heavier into it. Like it hasn't always, you know what I mean? It hasn't always been this heavier. Also, it's doubled from the lows. So there's just so many little nuances here that it's a great question that I should put together. I don't even know if Eduardo's still here, but it was such a good question, and I felt like I didn't give him a good enough answer. That I should put together a video about that, but in time. And everyone's been sharing great ideas for the channel and the stream and stuff. Oh, Eduardo's here. Cheers, Eduardo. Cheers for the great question that you had me thinking about it all week, and I'm like, damn, I hope I didn't let Eduardo down. He wanted some good answer there. But I should give more thought to that. Like, how would I frame it if I were really just trying to boil it down to a couple minutes in a video? It's a tough thing. As you can see, I just talked about rambling all over the damn place for 5 minutes or whatever. Some of these questions are tough to answer. It's so much, it's like, it depends. And there's nuances. And then you don't feel like going down the path and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like I could put together something. But in time, right? People give me good ideas in time. Let's see how this GameStop story unfolds and stuff. And we'll see where the channel's at in a couple of months. I saw some thumbnails of you smoking cigars. You saw me smoking a cigar butt, my man. That's what you saw, my man, child. I'll tell you the truth. I don't smoke cigars. That in the video where you saw, it's embarrassing now, but I don't care. That where I said GameStop's a roach, not a cigar butt. That was the first take where it made me cough. So embarrassing because I turned it into a cigar butt. So, but if you have recommendations, man, child, I'll tell you what. If GameStop works out and like if it goes up quite a bit, and man, child's laughing at me. Oh no! I deserve it though. It's embarrassing. It really is. It's embarrassing. But it's the truth. And then I was so happy I recovered because I did it in one take, and I'm like, I don't want to do it again. I was like, just count it. But if with the GameStop thesis works out, we'll get a light up. We got to light up our cigar butts on the stream. You know we have to. But I don't know what that price point is, but we'll see because no one else wanted to touch the cigar butts, but we did, huh? But if you have, hey, if you have recommendations for cigars, toss them out. I'm all ears. I want to and I told folks too. My wife and I were watching Sopranos right now. We're watching Sopranos, and he's going around smoking his damn cigars all over, looking like a badass, and I'm over here like, and I'm like, yo, I got to step up my game here. No lie, I gotta No cap. I gotta step up my game. So if you have recommendations for for certain types of cigars, let me know. I mean, I know about Cubans and stuff. I've heard about that. But any other brand that I might be able to buy locally, I'd be interested in. Oh yeah, Connecticut wrapper. Sick. Thank you, man, child. Legit. I'm gonna go look for one. Don't inhale. I know I'm an idiot. I think what happened was it doesn't matter. Who cares? All right, Manchild says Connecticut wrapper. Sick. Okay, I'll go look for one. Sick. So yeah, so that, anyway. Yeah. I saw some thumbnails. Oh shit, that's funny. Someone said they saw that video of GameStop and then they did click on the video, but that I was a stoner, so that's gonna be ridiculous. They thought it was gonna be ridiculous. Most brands have them. Hugo says, I think you should wear a mask during the streamings because of the safety. Oh, Hugo, shit. Oh, I don't have one handy. Wait, do I have one? No, I don't have one. Wait, did I miss one? Oh, blessed. What's your target rate return? Blessed. Check out my investment style videos. I do talk about that. A bit. Why not just go levered beta long index and sell out of the money puts? Yeah, there's tons of styles. I have my style, and I hear that's a popular style. Blessed. I kind of started as a value investor and like a kind of a long only value investor, and it's kind of shaped my thinking over the. I mean, my style has evolved for sure, but I think it's weighted. It's weighed on my style that I have gone, the pounce I've gone down. I mean, I get selling out of the money puts and stuff too. Wait, long index and sell out of the money puts. Oh, that's not my style, the levered beta style. As far as the target return, so I say this in the other video, but generally speaking, on average over time, I'm shooting for a 50 to 100% annualized, which is super, super aggressive. That's why I say what I'm trying to do, my style, it may not be suitable for all folks on this channel. I have no idea. And so if you're looking for advice, sit down with someone, a financial professional who may be able to help you learn about your personal situation and so forth. And so my style I consider very aggressive. It would be too aggressive for many folks. I really believe that. But to achieve those types of rates of return, I gotta take on more risk, more risk at times. And at times, one way I take on that risk, there's many ways to accept risk that the market is tossing out, is to take oversized positions at times. Which is, some would say, well, that's risky. You should be diversified. And that's true. They're not wrong to say that. But it's also how I could help boost returns. And there's other ways too. I mean, calls are another way. And but usually concentration. Concentration is a way to, just well-timed aggression, right? Buying at the right times. You know what I mean? Like being real picky about your entry points. So I said that about calls earlier. Like about calls, but stocks generally, I may have so many positions in the Roaring Kitty portfolio right now that's kind of silly, but I try to be very generally. This was special because of this year, but generally I'm really picky about my entry points. Like like these ones that are the top positions in the portfolio. When you see how big they are, it's like a lot of them are up quite a bit. Not a lot of them. Nah, TSE. Well, some of them are up, but like I was. I like to buy when it looks really bad. That's one way I protect. Some people would say it's riskier, right? Because they're looking at volatility and stuff, blah blah blah. But that's one way that I can help boost returns. Like make sure that I'm buying at a fairly deep discounted price. But there's many other ways too. I should add more to that to the video. Check out the investment style video. I dive deeper into that. No, Banchaw's leaving, but if you're really interested, get in a Oliva Connecticut Reserve, Churchill size. All right, I'm just going to take a picture with you. Just going to take a picture. Did you see that? All right, I got it, Manchild. Sick! Good night, Manchild, good night. Connecticut Reserve Churchill size. Trick with cigars is to puff every 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for the tip, too. That's helpful for me. It is. Oh, shit. Okay. Eduardo, have you tried other style besides deep value? To a degree. I mean, I got some technical analysis. Does that count, Eduardo? I don't know if that counts, because you may just say that's a tool to facilitate deep value, which is what I would say. But other folks would say, that's not deep. That's not value if you're using a chart. What I would say is this. Oh shit. I was having a conversation with someone recently about this. Like some people who it was someone who's invested or focused more on like long-term compounders, like really good business models and stuff, right? And then I was trying to reflect on my own style, like why did I go into deep? I mean, I started as a value investor, and then I'm like, but why deep value? And I think it's because it's the nature of the rates of returns that I'm shooting for. I think it's, and if anyone disagrees with this, let me know. I was just trying to reflect. I think deep value is one of the best ways to maximize rates of returns for an individual investor. Like if you're a sophisticated institution, you may have techniques that you can leverage that other folks can't, that allow you to just crush it. You know what I mean? Like Renaissance. You know what I mean? Like their returns are absurd. But I as an individual investor, this is what I say. If there's an individual investor who has returns like Renaissance, let me know, because I'm interested in something like that, because that's in my ballpark of what I'm shooting for. But if you're trying to achieve high rates of return, what do you do? What do you do? Buy compounders? Like hold it forever? I don't think that results in outstanding returns. That's subjective. What you consider outstanding is subjective. So if you're starting from a position where you're like, all right, I want to make I want to crush it. You know what I mean? That's subjective too. What do you mean when you say you want to crush it? What do you do? What can you do? You can't. I mean, you can't day trade. You know what I mean? That's why that hasn't been as good. I don't think. Again, if there's a day trader out there who has crushed it 50% plus, let me know. And I'm open to learning more. Maybe I haven't learned enough about it. But in my studies and my experience, I've been like, the way to boost those returns is by like some concentrated positions in some stocks that have quite a bit of upside, but at the same time, you probably want to be protected on the downside, because sometimes those real speculative ones can go to zero. And so if your process doesn't protect for that, if you don't account for those potential zeros, you might be screwed. So you got to be careful. And so I keep coming back to deep value as how to achieve those returns. But beyond that, I like growth investing and stuff. Even I'd be curious. I mean, someone could be lucky if they went all in on a growth stock or something, you know what I mean? But that's why it's much more about the process. If you go all in on one stock one time and crush it, and that carries your returns for years or something, like that's a little bit different. That's more exceptional. But as far as like a systematic process related to like repeatedly buying into growth stocks over time, I think the upside is kind of limited with that type of a process. But I try to keep an open mind about this. I do. So Eduardo, if you, maybe you just an open question there, and then have you tried other styles besides deep value? It's a great question. It really is. And like I do other tools. I utilize other tools besides value investing, right? I mean, if you view value investing as a tool instead of a style, it's one component of my process. You know, I've thought a lot about. That's why I've thought a lot about this. That's why I uploaded those investment style videos, because I'm like, if people ask, like Eduardo's asking great questions, and I'm like, Eduardo's one person, but I was wondering if there's other people too who are thinking the same thing. I'm like, I better just put this video together to kick things off, because if people are tuning in for the stream and they see the research I'm doing, you need some context, like what the hell it is I'm even trying to do. So that's why I try to accomplish all those videos. And then when I was doing it, I was trying to break down my style into different components, and which wasn't easy, by the way. It's not easy. You ever try to break down your style? Like, what exactly do you weight more heavily than other things? And it's not a science. You can convince yourself it's mine's not a science. But yeah, growth. I mean, compounding is a common one, and like it's like biotech stuff and real nano cap type stuff. But I don't know how sustainable. It's tough to build as an individual investor. Many of these there's like plays, there's like trades, there's like a stock that is a play, but it's hard to build a process around a particular type of a stock, you know what I mean? Or a particular type of a play. And I feel as though deep value scales better than some of these other strategies. I think it just scales a bit better. I mean, once you're Berkshire Hathaway, you can't do my style of deep value investing, right? I mean, even GameStop at 100 million, you couldn't even be buying. It's so small for like a Berkshire Hathaway. It's ridiculous that you could even do that. So what happens is you price yourself out of these opportunities, and you have to look elsewhere. You know what I mean? So, like in the early years of an investment, it always depends on what your goal is. But if the goal is maximum returns, which it may not be for you, it may not be a good goal to have. But if it were, it seems like deep value investing is a good area to get started, and then you can always transition into some of the other what someone could consider safer styles, more longer term stuff like a Buffett style approach. Remember, he was often dealing in some deep value stuff in those early days too. Had more of a Graham style approach, and then as the size of his investment capital grew, it sounded like he naturally transitioned anyway, right? Mungro's influence on him, Phil Fisher, and so forth. But he also got bullied out. I mean, he got boxed. He was forced out of deep value, right? Because he had to, and then you got to give him credit for that, right? He pivoted. He was like, all right, well, we got to kick ass some other way, and he did, which was awesome. And but oh shit, where was I? I forget where I was just going with that. You had me thinking about something. Hugo, if you want advice from him, just copy his portfolio. No, Hugo, no, you can't just copy. Too much nuance. As I've repeatedly said, just because you see these stocks here, you can't think that these are good picks. Some of these picks are picks that have already risen, and I just haven't gotten around to, like, I'm trimming out of them. Like, maybe I already think they're fair valued. I'm not going to go into each one, but just beware of that. Just because it's high up there doesn't mean, like Resolute is my second top pick, and then if next after GameStop, that's the one I would recommend. But I don't think. Like Resolute is up, it's up like 4x or something. It's like a 4x from the lows. You know what I mean? It's just something to bear in mind as you look through it. Hugo's having a laugh probably, but I do. It is good that I have, and I keep on saying this during the streams. Historically, I've run a more concentrated portfolio of like I don't know, 10 to 25 positions. But this has been good for the stream because, to Hugo's point, if you see what type of stocks are in my portfolio, it gives you a sense of my style. A little bit, you know what I mean? You'd be like, all right, like most folks I see don't know, no one cares about these stocks. No one even knows they exist, which is kind of good, I think. But anyway, you may see this and be like, what the hell is going on in this portfolio, right? And that's cool, that's legit, but at least you kind of know where I'm coming from, and then you can kind of see some metrics over here, right? Hopefully you can see those metrics. Johan, if you are a non-smoker, never risk to start smoking. I mean, I got these cigars for the because it's a roach, not a cigar bar. That was why I got. Well, now we're full into cigar butt territory now. I mean, now if this works out, we're getting close. But this cigar butt might actually work out. Oh, okay. Oh, Blessed's not asking for advice. Oh, Blessed's not even asking for advice. I have my own style too. Just curious about other fellow investors. I'll cheers to that, Blessed. Props. That's good. You should say, hey, I have my style. This is like why it's been good in the chat too, right? Because just to tie everything back to GameStop, because we always can. Like, I have my own thesis for GameStop, but I like to hear other people's other thoughts too. I'm curious about other people's thoughts about it just because it helps round out your thinking. But same goes for investment styles. To Blessed's point, it helps you. Maybe you do glean something from them. You'd be like, all right, maybe I don't do that because X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Hugo, GME. GME could be your thesis when you make the rankings fun. Yeah, right, Hugo. I tend to agree. I think the pendulum will swing back to value and out of growth eventually, but don't know when. I know. I don't totally buy into the whole value versus growth stuff to a degree. I talk about that, how it could be a tailwind for GameStop, but remember how we talked about value so subjective? You know what I mean? Like, and then people will say value's been getting crushed and getting its ass kicked for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And I'm just like, yo, value's been crushing it. I don't know what y'all talk about, but value's been, I feel as though has done quite well over the past. So I think this is a difference of opinion. But to your point, I know what you mean, Blessed, because I've said the same thing, is that how it's classically defined as like value stocks, which GameStop would be classified as a value stock, like trading at low price to book, low price to eat, trading below cash, blah, 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 that type of stuff. At times, those types of stocks have performed quite well, and it has served as a tailwind for that style. Now, that style, if you define it that way, hasn't performed particularly well, and indeed, at some point it could turn. It may not turn. Maybe it's over. You know what I mean? I know people always say, oh, this time, be careful saying this time is different. But I don't know. You got to keep an open mind about that shit too. I mean, I'm a value investor, and I said that in my investment style video too. Maybe I'm biased. I think it will persist because it's grounded in evolution and so forth. But you never know. You don't know. This market moves quick. Market styles move quick. You got to be careful to be so sure that what you do is going to persist and yada yada yada. You got to be a little bit flexible with some of that stuff to a degree. Some have been saying growth will be the winner for time to come because of the technology disruptive change. I've been in this for a really short time, but it sounds logical to me. Not to stay in only one style. Yeah, so Eduardo, I agree with this. Hey, Eduardo, if you haven't, I have a couple of tools videos out there. I uploaded 2 tools videos. One where I'm sharing like my browser-based tools that I use, like the websites I frequent and shit like that. But then I have another video. It's about my spreadsheets where the first one about the browser stuff is an hour, and the spreadsheet one is like 2 hours. So I apologize, Eduardo. But in that, I say something similar. Where, in fact, it was a criticism I had. I did do a good job in March and April with my current style, but I had a couple weeks later, I had almost an immediate, I regretted going as heavily into value as I did because I agree with you, Eduardo. I think I didn't know what was going to perform best coming out of the lows. I wasn't totally sure, right? No one knew. We didn't know what was going to perform best. It could have gone on for a couple more months or a year, and then I was like, shit. I had a lot of exposure to value, and so I talk about this in that tools video because I was introducing some of these aspects that you see here. And I wish I had diversified my style. And so it's the reason for this component here. Where is it? Just as one concrete example. So trend. I had wished that I had a longer list of trendier stocks that were in a real powerful uptrend that had some momentum before the market cratered. Before that happened, I wish I had it because then I would have just been buying up a whole bunch of. Some of these are value stocks. But they were in good trends beforehand. And this isn't a comprehensive list. This isn't comprehensive. I added this after the fact just to make my point. But I regret it because I agree with you, Eduardo. At times, especially in times of material uncertainty like March and April, I'm like, shit, I should have diversified more than I actually did. Not across. You see how many names I have. I don't mean names. I mean style. I had wished that I had bought more Shopify. I mean, these are really big companies. I wish I had bought Tesla. I don't care. I mean, now it's easy to say now, but I had thought that I may have even mentioned that at the time. I forget. There were some stocks that like more gold on March 16th. March 16th is when they collapsed. And again, this is just a small subset. I just tossed a couple on that I saw quickly. Apple, Amazon, some of them were trading at crazy prices, and they've since doubled, haven't they? It's crazy. Has Apple doubled? More than doubled. As big as Apple is, it has doubled from those lows. You know what I mean? We're talking about a low-risk way to have deployed capital. So that was all. Anyway, I agree with you, Eduardo. I think it can be beneficial to diversify your strategy. I would say at times. I wouldn't say necessarily all the times, but sometimes I have what I would like. I talk about I'm a fundamentals-focused value investor, but I have some positions in I have Bitcoin. This is in my the Roaring Kitty portfolio right here. See this portfolio? See this? Is that it? I got Bitcoin in there. How is that a value stock? That ain't no value stock. You know what I mean? So, this manifests in other ways besides just growth stocks. But it may be more like a psychology type thing or the chart itself. Sometimes I won't even dig into the fundamentals too deep. I always look into the fundamentals. But what the hell am I gonna? What fundamental analysis can I do on Bitcoin? What the hell do I know? And then so there's a number of plays like that in the Roaring Kitty portfolio where this looks interesting. But so it's more technical analysis focus, more psychology style, but not true growth style, I would say. That was my opportunity would have been in March and April to at least dabble. Other than that, it's a good point, Eduardo. It's a good point. And I agree with you. Some have been saying growth will be the winner for time to come because of technology disruptive change. I've been in this for a really short time, but it sounds logical to me. I agree. It does sound a little bit logical, doesn't it? This is coming from a deep value investor. Some of these valuations, though, are starting to look a bit high. I know maybe some value investors feel more strongly that they're obscene. I've heard some people say that. I just don't know enough to say I don't know. Some of them do look pretty rich, but in this new environment, to what Eduardo's saying, who the hell knows? It doesn't feel. I mean, I was young during the tech bubble, but I've read enough about it where what I've read, this doesn't feel like it to me. But maybe I'm wrong. I do think that there'll be I do think that some of these loftier valuation, I think there'll be a rotation into to what some folks are saying, to rotation into some other maybe less growthier type stocks, just because, not because of any, just because I don't really know what's ahead for the market, but usually what's in favor now, it doesn't persist forever, just because of human psychology. Like we'll take it to the extreme. We'll take it to bubble territory. Us humans, I mean, we will take it to bubble territory, and then it will have to correct. Like it's kind of rare. That's what I mean. This has persisted for a long ass time though. Like, hasn't growth been like not don't even just mean growth versus value. I just mean like, do I have a good ETF to pull up? I don't know. How about QQQ? Yeah. I mean, just QQQ as an example. What is it up? It's 2010. It's up quite a bit. It seems like a long time for a particular, it's kind of a style to be in favor. And I mean, value folks have been being made fun of for a while. Usually that's a good indication, but now value folks have been being made fun of, I think, for years now. So who knows? It's not good. It's not a good timing, but who's to say, right? Eduardo, this shit could go on for another 10 years. I don't know. I do know it doesn't look super bearish just yet, so I wouldn't make any imminent forecasts. I'll tell you that shit. I'll tell you that shit right now. This stuff still looks bullish as hell. You know what I mean? I might have not seen the spreadsheet video. Maybe showing, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, the average price for the stock. So yeah, Eduardo was saying if you could see the cost basis, that might help. That's true. Problem is this is a manual. I mean, this is a manual effort. I can't connect the stuff directly to the spreadsheet, so it's kind of a drag. But all right, thanks for sharing, Eduardo. Was it you or Eduardo? Someone mentioned too. Is like, can you at least talk about these positions in time, hopefully? So I apologize for that. I'd like it to be like I was doing that GameStop video. I'd like it to be like a video for each of at least these top picks. I don't want to say top picks, but at least for each of these prominently displayed picks, so you don't have to say, well, what the hell were you thinking about with this one or that one? You can at least just pull up the video in 2 minutes. You know what was going through my mind, why I bought it. In this case, I don't know. But the Rowan Kitty channel, the experience could be better. Eduardo's not saying that exactly, but there's a lot of areas where this thing could be better. I'd say, just in general, give me a little bit of time, a couple of months here, and then but stuff like that, Eduardo, yeah, I'd love that. But with time, right, sounds like, yeah, exactly. But feedback like that, Eduardo, is helpful. You know what I mean? Because that helps form my thinking. Even though I'm probably not gonna implement any changes imminently. It's gonna take a little bit of time because I want to. Sometimes I drag. If you hear me talk about stocks, I'll drag my feet because sometimes as I'm thinking about making a different change or making a move or something, then new feedback or other stuff forms my thinking on different things. So yeah, he's saying you're effectively just saying cost base, so you could see what we so you could see my. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it could help with like. Okay. Cool. Good shit. 10:30. Holy Toledo. I got going, huh? What the hell? Excellent questions. Shit. All right. Well, we covered some good GameStop shit today, huh? Yeah. Who was it? Blessed saying that, huh? Sometimes even I'm surprised. You know what I mean? I made that tweet that I'm like, yeah, what are we going to talk about today, huh? We find a way. GameStop finds a way, you know? Like I said too, it could be quiet for a while, so we'll come up with a. Hopefully, we'll be diving deeper into some of the. I thought for sure we're gonna dive deeper into some. We pulled up a couple of stocks today. I was looking to dive a little bit deeper into PBF. I thought the market kind of bounced today. Sometimes the market influences what I'm gonna do too, right? That's not a surprise. I guess that a lot of people like that. Anything else? That's the thing. So, and some of these things aren't. Like because I'm a deep value investor, sometimes something's got to be. I mean, I got all these positions in the portfolio, but sometimes I want something to be really compelling, you know, like that I'm like really excited to dive in deep. And as I look through this list, and I've done it a couple of times now, it's a lot of the same old theses that I've had, like some like natural gas. These natural gas plays are more like multi-year plays. There's nothing imminent. But PBF was starting to look interesting. RFP is kind of already bounced. Like a lot of these have already bounced. But anyway, sorry. Now I'm just rambling. I see a lot of oil and gas companies. You got that right, Hugo. Yeah, Fox is making fun of me for that. Yeah, a lot of energy exposure, which worked out today. But yeah, I would say a lot of this energy exposure is also. I had some good timing. Remember when it was futures were below zero there for a little bit. Yeah, so some of those are up. Some of those are up a bit. But even still, there's a case to be made that should I be trimming? I feel comfortable that I don't think I need to be adding. I do feel comfortable. So what I've been doing is taking money off the table. Except for, I just added PBF. But PBF is a little bit different because it's more of a refiner, which is a little bit of a it's still energy. It's still energy. Make no mistake. But indeed, yeah, right now I'm bullish. I'm bullish on energy, for better or worse. I still think on a relative basis. We'll see. I may regret that. I may regret that in time. We'll see. But I don't know. Some of the plays out there, I don't think oil's done for yet. I'm not gonna say I'm some oil expert or anything like that. I'm just based on just like the balance sheets and the historical earnings that I've seen on some plays, and it's in a sentiment type thing. Everyone hates energy. You ever see that? Like everyone hates oil and gas and stuff, and I'm just like, not everyone. I'm hyperbole. But usually when I see that, I get more interested in it. Where I'm like, damn, everyone like GameStop, as you all know. No one gives a shit about GameStop for 12 months, right? No one cares. I think GameStop, I mean, let's see if it works out, but it was a little bit of a case of mass delusion, a little bit, I think. Again, we're not out of the woods yet or anything like that, and the thesis hasn't fully worked out, but everything that I was seeing, I'm like, Uber cared. See, Uber cared. That's why. But that's what that Uber's even here right now. Uber, don't you think it was like, even some of these articles we're seeing right now, a little bit like a mass delusion? A little bit? And only because Barry's involved, but it harkens back a little bit to like the housing bubble a little bit, where everyone was like, no, this is how it's gonna work. And hold on, and so that was the case with GameStop, and so I see it to a little bit of a lesser degree with energy, where I feel like a lot of people are still kind of like shitting on energy. Not as crazy as it was. Like there were some tremendous opportunities from like March to May, mostly March and April. I'm like, I couldn't believe them. That's why I had to. I'm like, even if I don't know exactly what's ahead for oil and gas, but like, the market forces my hand at times. The market forced my hand in July and August with GameStop, forced my hand. And that's how I introed one of my GameStop videos by saying that. It was no joke. I had no choice. And then it happened with energy and a whole bunch of stocks, right? I mean, some of the prices we saw in March and April were just ridiculous. You have no choice. You got to track down cash. Not a recommendation, but some of those prices were indefensible. But that is because you know something about oil and gas, or because of the bullish momentum. No, I don't know how much I know about oil and gas. I mean, Hugo, I know you were dropping some knowledge on me about oil and gas, but no, about bullish momentum. You think you see bullish momentum in oil and gas? I don't see bullish momentum. I don't know. Are you seeing bullish momentum somewhere? I see bullish pessimism. I see pessimistic negative momentum to a degree, a little bit. Not to. In some of these are not priced as cheaply as they were. Well, I know to Eduardo's point, I know he said that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was gonna say Hugo was dropping some knowledge up. Wait, Hugo, what do you think about that then? Do you think that I have too much exposure? Hugo says Hugo's career is in oil and gas. That's why I'm a bit curious. Well, shit, now Hugo, now I'm curious about you. Trey, EV is the wave now. Electrification or die. Exactly, Trey. Exactly. That's why that's solar. That's why my one note today was solar. Did I mess up on that one? Shit. VW. EV of oil and gas. But EV is so in favor right now. But how long will that go on for? You know, it's definitely in favor right now. Oh, Volkswagen. Oh, is it VLKAAY? Is that it? from memory. Come on. Damn. Wait, does it still trade? Oh, it does. Oh, it traded. It changed the ticker, didn't it? I used to follow this closely back in the day. Didn't it sold off big one in like 2015, right? Yeah, I got interested here. Good thing I never did anything with it. That turned out to be right. It's not my type of play. It trades on the DAX. I think there's an over-the-counter one too. I think this is it, Uber. If only nuclear power would catch on, but I digress. Yeah. I know nuclear is a popular energy source. Oh, I mean, it's an unpopular energy source, but what's the justification there? Sure. Solar will only take off if it's forced or more incentivized by a new administration. That's right. And someone was saying how that, oh, maybe it was you, Trey. It ties into Biden. Hugo, nope, I meant for value investors. The oil and gas stock got very attractive in the crash. That's right. I agree. It got crazy. It got too attractive. Too attractive that, you know what I mean? By too attractive, I mean like even if you weren't a fan of oil and gas, like you had to buy some of these. Some of them were ridiculous. Just like it was like shooting fish in a barrel. And I guess the energy plays that are still higher up here are kind of ones that I still feel as though there's some upside. Yeah, that kind of sounds right. PPF, FTK, potentially. RRC, natural gas shit. Pump was an interesting one. Pump used to be very big. Okay. According to Elon, internal combustion engine will be like riding in the horse and carriage. I think perhaps I would just say I think it will take time. That's my base case, Eduardo, for what that's worth. Not an expert. I think some of these things take longer than people think. Could be, even if there's only like one last hurrah, I don't think we're there yet. If you're interested in basing yourself on power generation. Oh, okay. Basing yourself on power generation. Oh, yeah, Hugo's been saying that. It's kind of funny because people still thinking that oil and gas is only for fuels, but as the technology increases, the polymers and chemical from the polymers. That's right. That's as in the use case, Hugo. Right? The use that's when people are thinking oil and gas for fuels. That's right. You're talking about the end use case, which is true, right? Everyone thinks that oil is its only use case is this and that. It's needed for certain, as Hugo says, polymers and chemicals that are pervasive. They're in so many products you don't even know what they're in. Hugo can probably back me up on that. Now, as far as how much that comprises total demand, I don't know that figure off the top of my head, but the point still stands. To think that the world will be off oil totally, that's I think anytime soon silly. I think that's silly. But Hugo, I suppose I would defer to you. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to I've looked into that. I've looked into this back in the day. There's good charts out there on this type of stuff of like how did demand break down and stuff like that. Jet fuels and stuff. Yeah, that's right. So then Eduardo adds this, but when you put it into consideration, the percentage which is bigger, the fuel. So that's kind of what I was getting at. I don't know the breakdown off the top of my head. Uber, you can see the new build costs of solar and wind are closing in on being superior to the marginal cost of gas and coal. That's on a discounted lifetime basis. My base case is that if autonomous cars take off and the cars are all electric, then ICE vehicles will be for leisure. See you next Newsday. Regardless of topic, this stream is always quality timestamp brainstorm. Cheers, see you, thank you. I agree. I agree. It's kind of like no matter what we're talking about, we're kind of a fun time, you know? Cheers, see you. So Uber, anyone have questions they want asked of investor relations call? I'll report back on Wednesday. My only question, if you're still taking them, would pertain to some low-hanging fruit Uber kicks would be vendor partnerships. A little bit more insight on vendor partnerships. What the hell are they talking about? Is it just, do you have anything more? Oh shit, where did it go? Where's that press release? Do they got anything more besides this like anything besides Xbox? Anything in the pipeline? Where the hell's that Xbox one? I'd say anything on the lines of vendor partnerships, and or what the plan is for the. Yep, that was my list. That was on my list, and then the handling of the. The concept stores, you know what I mean? I know they're in a bit of a bind. I get that, but like, is there they got to have some sort of a plan. And I don't know. If I were them, I might not divulge too much just because they don't know what they're going to run with down the line. But is there any? Does any particular one look? Do they intend to implement anything? I'm curious. What I'm trying to get at, Uber, is that in-store experiences come the new consoles. In-store experiences, I think there won't be much of an update there, dude. So I get that, Uber, but is there anything that they can glean from their learnings thus far? Because they already had this up and running. They didn't share with us any information. Is there anything they can implement today in their current stores in November, in December, in January that they like to see? I know they can't do an overhaul of their stores. I'm not saying that. But like, I don't know. It sounds like it's too late to do in-store experiences like this one. Hey, Uber, I don't know if you were here for this part, but Scott Preston had some good ideas in here that in this article here from February 2020, where he touches on some things that kind of piqued my interest, but I don't know if they can answer some of them, but certain things, they were kind of like long-term things. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to replicate those. I didn't mean replicate. That's why I said I didn't mean that they would implement them. I meant, you know what I mean? Like, they could have learned something from those stores. Like, I don't know what I mean. Something just more experiential within the stores in November. Is there anything? Is there any experience? Are there going to be any experiences in the store in November that'll be different than the last console cycle? That's all. What are they doing differently? Are they doing anything? That's all, Uber. Forget the Tulsa stores. I'm just trying to figure out, are they going to be doing anything differently in the stores to re-engage with customers in November, in December, in January, and so forth? That's all. High level. Not even specifics. Is it just, that's all. Because it would be kind of cool if they were, but I don't know. Where the hell? I lost it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right, Uber. I know you're right. But then I have no questions. That's why I suck, Uber. I suck at this because I have no questions. If that's the Uber's right. He said the problem with asking long-term things right now is the environment is so fluid. Better suited asking for clarification on things they've said, what they're already doing, what we're looking to do. Uber, you're right. I got nothing. I trust you. Allocation, vendor partnerships, attach rates, in-store versus online. That attach rate one is a good one, Uber. Yeah, shit. That's a good one. We're not going to know any AAA release, to your point. Distributed sales force experience. Yeah, so you probably won't ask about esports for the same reasons you just said. You talked about the EBITDA. You're not going to do that because of COVID messed it up. GameStop's accessory rate. I like the accessory rate question. That's what I thought too, Uber. Uber saying he thought that's a good question too. Uber saying he thought that the quality of the inventory may be better today. We've said that on the stream a couple of times, right? That this may be higher quality shit. This may be I think we said it tonight. This is a higher quality book than they've had. Even though it's smaller, it may have been increasing in quality. That's a good question. That they were selling random shit in boxes. Yeah, getting rid of their crappy inventory to try to keep things beefed up. Buy, sell, trade competency. I don't really have anything. Oh, and then there was, I just wanted to check this. Okay. GameStop captures. Oh, Mark, can you ask a market share question? Like right here, check this, Uber. GameStop captures significant market share during launches. Are they going to capture more market share? Do they expect that? I mean, they're just going to give you some usual answer. I get that, but I'm going to get caught up here. Actually, the percent of decrease in fuel cells is being replaced for the percent of increase. The percent of decrease in the fuel cells is being replaced. Oh shit, Hugo. Hugo saying the percentage of decrease in fuel sector is being fully. I find that hard to believe. For the percent of increase in the non-fuel derivatives. I'd ask flat out if they have anything planned to create a narrative for the future in the realm of PR. Yeah, no shit, CU, huh? I know, but then you don't want to. I think there won't be much of an update. Yeah. I know, right? Uber said agreed. Relative to Tesla, I remember that one. Worth a shot, yeah. Yeah. Maybe they had release events planned, possibly COVID squashed that. All right, that's true, CU. Maybe squash that. Just ask them if the shareholders will be happy or not after the next earnings report. I'll ask about the same-day delivery pilots. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I don't know. I'm not sure what my question is. Like, I wanted to ask about this stuff: rent to own, buy now, pay later. But I don't know what I would ask. And then the same-day delivery and the credit card. But oh, it's up here. Oh wait, how about how about Xbox All Access? Oh yeah. How about Xbox All Access? I'm kind of curious about this. This is like their first, the only vendor partnership they've disclosed, right? I mean, I don't know how much they can disclose. What's my question? I don't even know what the hell my question is. What's the breakdown here? You know what I mean? Well, so GameStop offers this plus 24 months. Players will what's the... Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So Uber said, yes, I did want to ask them how would revenue from all. Yes, that's my question. It's not necessarily a vendor partnership, right? But it's in the vein I was going to lead in with when asking. Yeah. I don't know. It was just like I don't more information on that, right? Is it you get a kickback? How's this work? What's the relationship there? And is there opportunity here? I mean, is there opportunity here with others for Sony, Nintendo? Yeah, I don't know if that qualifies as one. I would qualify it as one. Tell them about the Roaring Kitty streaming so anyone from the border road has got to talk here. Here you go. Oh, shit. They typically do big releases as major events. Wow, that's huge. Must be fun getting to do that. Yes, I did want to ask them. Oh, wow, Roaring Kitty's still alive. Polygons. Sick. I went and ate. Well, I'll get rolling here soon. I should... Oh, welcome back. I know, Polygon. Who was he? Remember Hugo? Hugo took a nap one time. Hugo was like oil and gas and polymers, and then he fell asleep, and then he woke up like 2 hours later and we were still streaming. He was like, what the hell's going on here, y'all? Shit. Oh, damn, that's funny. Taking steps to enhance our shopping, as well as same day delivery. Yeah, all right. I guess nothing else. In Uber we trust. Huh? No doubt. I'd be curious what they're sharing too. Uber's gonna come back. They bought back. Nah. Oh shit! Oh wait, I want to look at one more graphic. That's what I even opened up for. I mean, any Any power-up rewards? Uber, power-up rewards? I don't know what the question is. But, like, unexpected gold line, you know what I mean? They're not gonna say anything about that. How are they leveraging it? Or I think you maybe you already had a question. I don't know. There's nothing. I can't think of anything good enough. Oh, yawn. Oh, boy. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah. So that's about possible data monetization. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think they were just. I think Adorno was just having a laugh. Yeah, just asking them questions, and they won't answer if they'll know. Oh yeah. Trey's been saying that he wants more stuff, power up rewards. Yeah, wanting more incentive for wanting to use the program, right? If Bear's on the menu front. So Wednesday. All right. So next stream, Uber. We'll see you on the next. Good luck with your questions, Uber. And then if you're on the stream Wednesday, but if we see you, be curious if there's some new intel there. Uber, this could be it for GME news. Whatever news in Uber we trust. Yeah, I'm on board with that. In Uber we trust on these questions. Probably more than I trust myself. This could be our only GameStop news. Oh, okay. Uber's coming on. All right. Cheers to that, Uber. Thank you. Uber will be on. This could be our only GME news for weeks. Who knows? I don't know. We'll have to see. But okay, I'm gonna roll. All right. Good chat, y'all. This was sick. Actually, there were some really good chats in there. I gotta go scroll up. I think when I upload the video, I don't think the chat's immediately visible. I feel like it's not visible. I think it's gotta load into the system or something. I can't always see it right away. But, what the hell were we talking about? Oh, I'll go up. I'll scroll. Night, Trey. Night, everybody. I hope you all had a fun time. Thanks, Eduardo. It was nice to have you back briefly, Polygon. We hope you had a nice dinner. We hope you had a nice dinner, too. Of course. And good luck, Uber, with the questions. Night see you as always. Nice, Steven Dominguez. Cheers, Steven Dominguez. All right. Hugo, adios, Hugo. We'll catch you on the next one. And yeah, that's it. We'll just keep tracking that GameStop stock price, waiting for news, and that's about it. Ain't shit else to do right now. All right. Y'all have a nice night tonight. Oh, let me get queued up the. Right there. Sir. All right, y'all. Have a nice night. Peace out. It's the waiting game right now. That's right, Eduardo. It's the waiting game. Just chill. We could call it just the chill mode right now. We just got to kick back, have a brew, have some laughs. That's about all. I'm on board with that, Eduardo. All right, peace out.